Friday with all of the Tiger athletics going on today and tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot going on. If you don't know, obviously I think everybody knows about the basketball game tonight for the Tigers and the football game tomorrow, but also the soccer programs in action, the women's soccer team in action. I think starting off right now in the second round of the NCAA tournament, the men's team won last night to advance to their next round, which I believe is going to be Sunday in Fayetteville. So it's going to be it's a great time for the Tigers. But a Fight Song Friday here. We're going to go all Tigers today with the big game tomorrow versus SMU. But Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios. Johnny Hill producing for us as always. Brett, how you doing on a Friday?
I'm doing great, Brian. We'll let ACC Country play SMU's Fight Song.
That's right. That's right. If
they want to play that, they can.
Yeah, if they want to be a part of the SEC and the SEC wants to add them, I mean, the SEC is just happy they don't have to pay them money for the next 7 years. But ACC, yes. And what was I saying?
SEC's glad they don't have to pay them too.
SEC's glad they don't have to pay them money either. But yes, the ACC, all the letters, it gets a little confusing. But no, it's
a lot of letters.
Yeah, they can go. Durham, North Carolina, their radio stations can play SMU's Fight Song. I don't even know if I know SMU's Fight Song.
I know that I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it plenty of times, but I couldn't tell it to you right now.
I've been to games in Dallas for SMU, but only once. I've never been to one on campus at Ford Field. The only game I went to was at Texas Stadium.
Oh,
in 1982, Arkansas and SMU. About this weekend, maybe last weekend. It's about this time of year, big game. 17-17 tie, Brian.
Oh, I know you love the tie, so you were loving that.
It was a great game. They had Dickerson and James, and Arkansas was real good that year. Arkansas had lost to Baylor about 2 or 3 weeks before that. SMU had only a tie that year.
Wow.
That tie at Arkansas was their only blemish. So they went to the Cotton Bowl as Southwest Conference champions.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow, that's exciting.
That decided.
Interesting. Wow. Well,
so Arkansas lost to Baylor about 2 weeks before that. Mm-hmm. Then they tied SMU and then played Texas the last regular season game of the year in Austin and got hammered.
Really?
Yeah, finished 8-2-1 and won the Gator Bowl. Remember a few weeks ago I was talking to Ty Richardson about it. Won the Gator Bowl against the Gators, against Florida.
Wow.
I'm sorry. Won the Bluebonnet Bowl against the Florida Gators. Won the Bluebonnet Bowl in Houston against Florida.
Wow. Interesting. Well, that sounds like
1982.
It's a long time ago, but it sounds like
41 falls ago, Brian.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Can you believe this is my last Friday from the hotel in Oxford? This is it?
Brett, I feel like we say this every year, and we say it with every season, every month, whatever. But this football season has flown by.
And I think there's a reason why for both of us. Good seasons fly by fast.
That's true.
And your team, your alma mater, the Memphis Tigers, my team, the Ole Miss Rebels, it goes by fast. I mean, it speeds by. It speeds by anyway.
Yeah.
But it really does breakneck speed when you're having fun, winning wild games, heart-stopping games, and we've had a lot of those this year, and it's been a fun season. I swear it feels like, maybe last week I was at SEC Media Days. Huh. It feels like yesterday you and I were at the golf tournament.
Oh, yeah. I carry 2 notebooks in my bag, and as you know, Brett, one of them has the route for when the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's got the parade route in there. But in the other one, I used to use it a lot, jot down notes, stuff like that. I use a smaller one now, but I pulled it out the other day to do something, and I was seeing notes from back at SEC Media Days. I was like, that feels like yesterday that we were talking about SEC Media Days and talking SEC football from SEC Media Days. And it's just flown by. I mean, to think that this is the last kind of full Saturday of regular season college football is really hard to believe.
And it's goodbye. We'll see you when we see you for a lot of these games this weekend and really into next weekend. There's some real bittersweet in that. The future, I'm always optimist. I always think the future will be bright and will be better, and it always has been. 1980 was better than 70, and 2000 was better than 90. It always will be. I'm gonna go to my last breath, being an optimist and looking forward to the future. I remember the past, and I love the past, but the future's where the action is going to be.
Right.
Hope I'm a part of the action.
Yeah.
But it does go by really, really fast, and I say it every year. John Harden calls it the bird months. Nothing flies by like September, October, November, and December, and we've done it again this year. And next week will be 1 year since I went to the Ohio State-Michigan game in Columbus.
Wow.
It feels like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
In this room, packing my grip after losing to State and heading to the airport in Memphis.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. It's flown by, and, it's weird because it seems like for really a couple years now we've been talking about, 2024, everything is going to change. That 2024
Here
season is when everything changes. Here in a couple weeks, we're going to be talking about that being the present and not the distant future.
It is, and a lot of fun ahead for sure. And tonight with the Tiger basketball team playing against Alabama State and Tony Matlock, and then tomorrow at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, really what people have always voiced to me, I think everything except for a primo starting time. Okay, early, it's early.
Sure.
I mean, how many does that really dissuade? What does that really knockout? But okay, except for that, I don't know what the objection would be to a robust crowd.
No, I don't either. I hope it's a great crowd tomorrow. I think it is. I think it's going to be a good crowd. Weather holding, I guess, but I've seen
first number will be what, and I'll go with just what they say. I'm not going to get too hung up in scan or
I think 3. Maybe 4, but I think high 30s.
I think first number for this type of game. All right, I'll go there. I'll go there with you. All right, first 2 numbers, 37, 38.
Yeah, I'm thinking 37.
38,000. Yeah,
would be really good. And if you can get to 40, that'd be great.
Sure would be.
So I'm hoping it's a big crowd. But Brett, I've seen as much as we've talked about the part of the fan base that seems to be unraveled about this team and unraveled about Coach Silverfield, I feel like I've seen an excitement for this weekend's game and the possibilities of it.
I do too.
And we've given away.
But I thought I saw that for Tulane too, to be frank.
Well, that's very true.
But that was Friday night.
That's true. So this is a Saturday morning. 11 a.m. A lot of people complain about 11 a.m. games.
Affordability. There's less expensive tickets. There's good value in tickets. There's cheap tickets out there.
Sure, absolutely. Well, and we haven't even talked about this, and I thought it was really cool. I saw this Wednesday morning. But Jake Elliott, the former Tiger and now kicker for the Eagles, he purchased 2,500 tickets for this game this weekend against SMU, and gave it out for free. Just get fans. Nice. They had a link to click on, and I was talking to Dave this morning, and he said that he was told those tickets were gone in 2 hours. So right. I mean, it seems like
that is spectacular.
There is excitement around this, and I hope it. You're right. We won't know until we see it tomorrow at 11 o'clock. But I'm really hoping it's going to be a big crowd because this is a good SMU team, and I think the Tigers need a big crowd there to bring the energy to kind of lead them to a victory tomorrow.
I don't think Ole Miss would have the 6-0 home record they have this year without the crowds that it had against LSU, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. I think it was the difference.
Yeah, well, and that's something that especially like listening to post game and everything, and Lane Kiffin, that's something he's stressed ever since he's gotten to Ole Miss is those crowds and the student section in particular. And I think this year you've seen them really come out, and I've heard him post game with you, and then on Thursday nights during Rep Talk when they have him on, and he says these crowds this year are unbelievable. These student section crowds this year have been really incredible. So I think a good crowd and a good showing from your students definitely helps the teams.
And he made news last night on Rep Talk that was right here on these stations with the announcement that Jackson Dart will be back next year. I never thought it was that up for grabs, but there was a little conversation about some West Coast places maybe being interested. One particularly reinterested in him, but he will be back next year at Ole Miss, and he will shatter every record in the Ole Miss record book passing wise next year, and has a chance to really have a historic type year. If Ole Miss catches the right break with a couple more that can return next year, can be really good. And depending on how they finish, win tomorrow, win biggest game of the year Thursday night, win the bowl game, we know that'll puff them up. Sometimes that's maybe not accurate, but we know that summertime magazines and that first poll likes really kind of how you finished the year before more than anything else. If that happened, and with Dart returning, Ole Miss could start next year in a top 11 or 12.
Oh yeah, I think absolutely, and
a lot to do before that though.
A lot,
like tomorrow and Thursday night.
Yes, and I was sitting up here. Me and Johnny was doing that show last night, and I was hanging out up here. We were chit chatting, and this is how Lane Kiffin. Everything he says is just kind of nonchalant, no big deal.
He is.
And when he said that, I heard it. And it did not kind of register with me.
You thought that's news.
Yeah, well, I was like, that's big. But the way he said it, it was just like so nonchalant. And I was like, huh. And then I didn't think about it again. And then like 30 minutes later, I mean, Twitter was, every college football account on Twitter was tweeting, Lane Kiffin says that Jackson Dart will be back at Ole Miss, and I was like, wow, he did say that. That was big news, wasn't it? But just the way he says pretty much everything is very nonchalant, low-key, not a big deal, and that's kind of how he delivered the news about Jackson Dart last night.
And we know in this college football world, you have to have that magic man at quarterback, and he has been, and he's played a little nicked up since the Arkansas game, and those preseason rankings love quarterbacks. So Ole Miss will next year at media days, next year summertime ramp up. If they finish this strong like they can, I'm not saying that it's a given, but if they do, then next year we'll start fun. Look at us talking about next year.
Look at us already. I mean, what two more games left for most teams, and we're talking about next year. That's
well,
how
we
it
know
goes,
one person that will not finish this year, and he's already got an eye on next year, and I hate it because I really like watching Joe Burrow play, and I hope we're not getting a head fake from the Bengals. I mean, they're saying risk because I'm afraid it might be nerve.
Ooh, yeah, that wouldn't be good. And now, kind of after that happened, and after he left last night's game, kind of people finding pictures and things from earlier before the game where he had kind of a soft cast, some sort of brace on his arm, and people questioning, well, why was this not talked about before the game, and then obviously the injury and left that game early, never came back. But you're right, I mean, a massive blow for that Bengals team that looked like it was kind of starting to get on their stride a little bit,
like they always do, kind of that from now till the end of the year push, but I don't think they can squeeze into the playoffs with that. I'm quickly trying to look. I think that drops them technically right now 10 in the AFC, and that gets you nothing.
Yeah, and without Joe Burrow back there,
10. It Buffalo really 11.
Huh, wow, that's hard.
That's a lot of cars.
That it really is, but I mean for the Bengals to not have Joe Burrow back there, I mean, it could get ugly up there the rest of the season.
And now Lamar Jackson without a big piece, really his only reliable offensive piece, other than when he looks in the mirror.
Yeah.
The two reliable offensive pieces is he looks in the mirror, and it's him, number 8, and it's Mark Andrews, and now he's out for the year.
Yeah, and that one was another big blow because, I mean, we know how much he goes to Mark Andrews and went to him a couple times early last night before he went down pretty early with an injury, and that's a huge loss. I mean, that was right after the game. We just got the news about an hour ago about Joe Burrow, but that was right after the game. He's out for the rest of the year. So
and that was early in the game. That was just minutes into the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think and already had like 2 or 3 catches on the night Mark Andrews did, and so but for the Ravens to still be able to win that game, that was certainly a huge win for them, but definitely tough news for both Joe Burrow and Mark Andrews. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Alan Bell from CBS Digital, also the Early Edge, will join us. We'll talk some wagering with him, talk about the weekend, all these games coming up. 3:45, we'll get into the Tigers game tonight against Alabama State. We'll also have to get to Tiger Bankroll, third game of the season. We'll have to make a pick right now. What are we playing it off of, Brad? I've seen that 30, so 30 and a half.
30 and a half.
Ooh, that is a big number.
Why does it feel like that hook will matter?
It really does. It really does. So we'll have to get to Tiger Bankroll at 3:45. 4 o'clock, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net will join us. We'll talk more wagering with Bruce. We also got to talk to Bruce about kind of the F1 circuit in Las Vegas right now. And,
had a storm drain stopped everything.
Oh, it was bad, Brett. It was really bad last night when they were going through their practice rounds.
What in the wide world of sports we doing here?
Yeah, good question. It was ugly last night. I think.
Hit a storm drain going 110 couldn't be good, could it?
Oh, it completely messed up the car, and everyone was worried the driver was injured. The driver was fine, but it messed up his car bad, and a lot of other cars were saying they were.
How hard one? What's worse, storm drain at F1 track in Vegas or our potholes in Memphis?
Oh, our potholes in Memphis.
Yeah.
Man.
Our potholes.
No, they're bad. They're really bad, and they get me every time. But we'll have to get his thoughts on this whole F1 race.
On my regular track, I know where the potholes are.
Oh, really? So you can avoid them? Wow. I always feel like I do, and then one will get me every once in a while, and I'm like, man, I missed that one.
And the bad thing about it, when it bends the rim, that's when you really have the cost.
Oh, yeah, that's when you're in trouble then. But, no, it seems like a mess out in Vegas right now, so we'll have to get Bruce's thoughts on everything F1 in Vegas. 4:30, Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas will join us. We'll have to talk Razorbacks with him, both football and basketball. We'll also get into a little SEC talk. I'm curious what he thinks about that opening at Texas A&M, who he thinks they should hire. I saw Jeff Traylor. It was reported yesterday that he's interviewed for that Texas A&M job. So very interesting opening down at Texas A&M. 4:45, we got to get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock.
Bingo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bingo. You're right. When we're done with Ty Richardson at about 4:41, 4:42 or so, right at the end of that segment, we'll get to our weekend bingo card and talk about what we think will happen this weekend in both the NFL and college football. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Jason Munz, the Tiger basketball beat writer for the Commercial Appeal. He'll join us talk Tigers. And as always, Jason Munz is presented by Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. 5:30, we'll get to our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show. We'll wrap up the week with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure studios where family and fun come together. The Overstock Sale. Family Leisure needs your help to clear out overstock inventory. Select patio sets up to 50% off. Play gyms under $2,000. Extended sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. Winter pool closing items up to 30% off. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off their in-stock items. And Family Leisure has you covered for saunas, massage chairs, arcades, and theater seating, all with free delivery and their special financing. It's still available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
That's Brian. I'm Brett. Our producer is Johnny Hill, and we're Sports Time, and we're with you until 6 o'clock tonight. And you can call or text us at 901-360-8255. This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. Happy Thanksgiving from everyone at Lexus of Memphis to you and yours. They are at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. They are the one and only Lexus dealership in town with the great offers on all the remaining 2023s, but mostly all those new 2024s and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 23 or 24 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
My top story of the day is this game tomorrow for the Tigers against SMU, a big game, and hopefully a big crowd. We talked a couple of seconds ago that it's going to be hopefully a big crowd because of the big game, but we'll see what the turnout looks like. And for the Tigers, everything is still in front of them with, the chance to play in the conference championship game. And they need the win tomorrow. It's going to be a really good test for them against a really good SMU team, and we'll see what this offense can do. I think the offense has to lead the charge. They need points early if they want to keep up with this SMU team. I've heard a lot of people talk about this SMU quarterback, Preston Stone. He's one of the highest rated recruits that has enrolled at SMU, and he's going to be a difference maker tomorrow. The secondary at times this season has kind of looked a little questionable, so how can they step up tomorrow against this SMU offense? And it should be a big game, but I think this is going to have to be an offensive performance against SMU.
It is everything tomorrow. It's my top story as well. Tigers against the Ponies for the last time, for a long time. Wondering when the next time it will be. Want an exciting team? Check. Tiger fans, they have it. You want record-setting players? Check. You got them.
Yeah.
You want games that really matter? Check. All that. You want an affordable ticket price? Check. You've got that. You want a name quality opponent? Check. You got that in SMU. You want a great forecast for football tomorrow afternoon? Check. Okay, maybe the kick time is not ideal, but that's the only thing you can find. It should be, tomorrow should be 50,000. First number should be a 5 tomorrow. I will yield to high 30s. But why are we still begging for high 30s for this kind of team? This is no trying to play to get in to the Pinochle Bowl team. This is a team going for the AAC championship game, a rematch with Tulane. If there's not at least 35,000 there tomorrow, then there are serious problems that if 8-2 and potentially 9-2 can't fix, then those problems are going to have to be addressed.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. They're going to have to be addressed. And I'll say this as well for tomorrow, and you want the big crowds for tomorrow, but let's not forget, I've heard a lot of people, kind of the doubters of this team, the detractors of Ryan Silverfield say, okay, well, yeah, they're winning games, but they're not in that conversation of competing for a conference championship, but they are. They're here
but they
now,
are.
And they're in that mix.
They're in the conversation for the Fiesta Bowl.
Yes, and so you win that game tomorrow, you are right there in the mix for that conference championship game and that opportunity to play in the New Year's Six bowl game. So, it's going to be a big game tomorrow, and I'm really hoping.
We're not talking Motor City Bowl.
No. This is, what Dave said earlier this week when we had him on. I mean, right now, if you win tomorrow, that pretty much puts you hopefully either in a New Year's Six bowl or the Fenway Bowl against an ACC team.
And potentially Liberty.
Yeah, it would be really good.
Not top story of the day.
Well, for my not top story of the day, it's going to be this game tonight for the Tiger basketball team, but not really this game tonight. I think it should be a fun game. Obviously, Tony Madlock coming back into FedEx Forum, and I really do like their team. I think they've got some interesting pieces this year, but really, what's to come after this game? We know the battle for Atlantis starts next Wednesday when the Tigers face Michigan, and this should be a really good tune-up game because I think this Alabama State team has been competitive. They've played 2 Division I opponents. They played Ole Miss their first game and really hung with Ole Miss and covered that spread. And then they played Iowa, and for a large part of that game, it was fairly competitive before Iowa kind of started running away late in the game. And they still covered the spread, though. Just keep that in mind when we get to Tiger Bankroll here in a little bit. But I think it's going to be a good game. I think it should be a good tune-up game for them. And then next week, it really comes to the big games of the season, this big tournament we've been talking about when they play Michigan, hopefully play Arkansas on Thanksgiving, then get a shot maybe at North Carolina or Villanova. I mean, when you talk about this team being right outside of the top 25 at number 26, if they can get there and play 3 really good opponents, there's no question, Brett, if they can come out, as we both, I think 2-1 in that tournament, you're talking top 20, top 15.
By this time next Friday, we will know a lot of the direction for the Tiger seed for the rest of the year, barring major unforeseen circumstances. But it's really going to be set after Wednesday and Thursday in the Bahamas.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be set after that, and it's exciting.
My not top story. you want, and I promise you I'm not repeating myself here, but I kind of am. You want an exciting team? Check. You want record-setting players? Check. You want games that matter? Check. You want a great forecast for tomorrow? Check. There should be the first number in Oxford tomorrow, a 6.
Yeah.
If Memphis should have a 5 or a 4, Oxford with an 8-2 team should darn sure have a 6. And Coach Lane Kiffin has done everything but beg to get a crowd out. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they come support this senior class, part of the big transformation, the big turnaround of Ole Miss football that was dead and buried before Lane Kiffin got there? It was over. After Elijah Moore hiked his leg in Starkville, football was over at Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin's done an incredible job. So I think tomorrow, for a 13th ranked team in the country and the last home game of the year, and we only get 7 trips to the Grove all year, the first number in Oxford tomorrow should be a 6.
Yeah.
And I'm talking legitimately.
No, I think you're right. And, so that'd be get a 6 down at Ole Miss. If you could get a 4 or a 5 here at Memphis, I mean, those are 2 great crowds.
Lane's watching, and I don't blame him.
He is watching. He's watching, and that's something that matters to him. I mean, it's mattered to him ever since he took the job at Ole Miss, and it's certainly not going to stop mattering for an 8-2 team. So now I think 2 very interesting games, 2 really good teams here locally in Memphis and Ole Miss going tomorrow. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk wagering with Alan Bell.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your early bird special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5 Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5 Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5 Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5 Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Here at Memphis Barbecue Supply, we have everything you need for your Thanksgiving feast. If you're smoking, deep frying, or putting that turkey in the oven, We got over 20 different turkey injections and brines to keep your meat juicy and moist, with brine bags and buckets, and 308 different rubs and sauces to choose from. If you're in need of fuel, Memphis Barbecue Supply carries 9 different types of wood chip, chunk, mini logs, and logs of wood, and over 4 tons of wood pellets in stock. And don't worry, we also carry thermometers, injectors, and all other sorts of gadgets that you might need to simplify your cook. And for any questions that you might have, our knowledgeable staff is always eager to help. Memphis Barbecue Supply is located at 7041 Stage Road in Memphis, or you can order online at mbbqsupply.com. Follow us on all the social media platforms for recipes, new products, and barbecue news.
Grizz Nation, it's go time. Catch your Grizzlies this Sunday at 7 p.m. when they take on Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Get hyped. Get ready for a star-studded show and secure tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting Grizzlies.com.
Let's make some money. It's time for Wagering Talk with Alan Bell from CBS Sports. Alan is the executive producer of Early Edge, part of CBS Sports Digital, and on Twitter X at Alan G. Bell. Here's Alan with Bryant and Brett.
Alan Bell joining us now from CBS Sports Digital, also the executive producer of the Early Edge, to talk some wagering. Alan, thanks so much for joining us, and let's jump right into it with some college football and probably the big SEC game with most teams using this week to play, FCS opponents or lesser opponents, group of 5 opponents. The big game this weekend in the SEC, number 1 Georgia at number 18 Tennessee and Rocky Top. Georgia right now a 10-point favorite. That line or that total sitting about 58.5. What do you like in this one, Alan?
Yeah, appreciate it, brother. Thanks for having me back. And look, man, Georgia, take Georgia. Don't think twice about it. Go. I think Missouri showed the blueprint last week against Tennessee. Is that this team is built offensively on running the football, and if they can't, and you keep the ball away from them, their offense is in trouble, man. Mm-hmm. And I think Georgia can absolutely do that. And the problem is that when your team doesn't trust the quarterback to throw it further than 10 yards consistently, it's tough to come back in game. So, yeah, take Georgia. Don't think twice about it. And, find you another game to enjoy. I think this could be a little bit of a blowout.
Alan, you touched on the lack of confidence in Joe Milton. I missed badly on Tennessee. I had them. This was the weekend. I had them upsetting Georgia at Neyland. I had them winning the East, going to the Football 4. They're not close to all that. I think it just shows that not even Josh Heupel could fix Joe Milton.
Oh, he can't. And I think the bigger conversation is that Hendon Hooker was a special quarterback. He was a lot better than people probably give him credit for. And that's not saying that anybody cited him because nobody did. But he just had the qualities, man. Like, the guy was smart, guy could throw, guy could run, he could do a lot. And I mean, Milton has qualities. I mean, he has a cannon for an arm, but when you don't know where it's going, buddy, that cannon it doesn't help you out too much.
Yeah, I've said, give me Joe Milton in a punt, pass, and kick contest. I love it, but in 2 minutes and 80 yards of green grass in front of you, and I need you to make plays in a game-winning drive, he doesn't have it.
No, and the interesting part too is that at some point you have to try it, and Heupel has just not done it really at all. And it's fascinating. It's like, okay, if you don't trust the guy that much, you don't have somebody else. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird spot to find himself in.
Yeah, I don't think they wanted to do anything to wreck the freshman, but might see him more late tomorrow and maybe next week against Vandy. Here locally in Memphis, 11 o'clock kickoff tomorrow morning. It's now, I'm seeing 9 points. It's been 8.5 all week. The SMU Mustangs, the Ponies, are in town on their way to the ACC and a chance to get in the AAC championship game. They are an 8.5, 9-point favorite over the Memphis Tigers. Assess this game for us.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm going to take the under in this one. I think this could be a little bit more of a dogfight than probably the books think that it will.
That's 64.5.
Yeah, I like the under in it, to be honest with you. Especially in an early setting. This feels like, kind of a back and forth. You're gonna see mistakes offensively, on both teams, which quite honestly would work out in Memphis' favor there.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess around with the spread, but I'll mess around with that total. I want the under now.
I like that one. Interesting. Let's go out to the West Coast. A big one in the Pac-12, fifth-ranked Washington on the road against 11th-ranked Oregon State. This one, 6:30 on ABC. Right now, Oregon State, a 1-point favorite at home. That total at 62.5. Allen, I've really enjoyed watching this Washington team. Any chance they pull the upset in Corvallis?
Yeah, I think that they do. The interesting part, just 2 days ago, I actually bet this game at Washington plus 2.5.
Wow.
And it's dropped down. Now, here's the thing about Oregon State, okay? Their last 17 games at home up there in Corvallis, they're 16-1 straight up and 16-1 against the spread.
Wow.
Like, that Corvallis magic is real. They play well at home. But that being said, I mean, we're at the part of the season to where, teams that have something real to play for generally show up. And Washington's undefeated. I mean, they have everything in front of them, and they have a quarterback that could realistically win the Heisman Trophy in Michael Penix, right? So I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be one of the most fun games of the day, and there are a lot of good games on the slate to watch. But I like this one a lot. Yeah, I like Washington. If you're going to give me a point, I'll take the point. Take Washington to win outright. I think that they do.
And it will be a good game. DJU versus Michael Penix. DJU showing he needed to get halfway, literally across the country away from Dabo to truly excel. Tomorrow night on Fox, 7 p.m. Iowa State at home, looking for some of that magic there at home against Texas. Texas can't slip, can they?
No, I mean they need and must win this game, But you know what? That's why I'm going to take Iowa State to cover, because every time that I bet on Texas in one of these games, like they win, but they don't cover. They always do something stupid, right? Like I was big on Texas a couple weeks ago against Kansas State. Everyone was betting Kansas State, and I was like, no, Texas, this is it. This is where you prove who you are. Halftime, Texas is up 21-3. Or something, just hammering Kansas State. Mm-hmm. How long did that last? They went
let them back in.
Yeah, exactly. Texas does this all the time. They've done it forever. So, look, I think that they win the game. But, yeah, you can give me Iowa State to cover on that one. I've lost way too many times betting on Texas.
I like it. Talking to Alan Bell from CBS Digital, also the executive producer of The Early Edge. Let's get to some NFL games for this weekend. And as selfish as I might be, I'm going to have to start with my Cowboys. 10.5-point favorite on the road against the Panthers. They looked good against a banged-up Giants team. Do you think they continue to roll against the Panthers on Sunday?
Yeah, I do. And I know that, us together on this show, we've taken the Cowboys at some pretty big spreads.
Yeah.
But you know what? They show up. I mean, this team scores points, and the Panthers will give up a ton of points. Their offense is obviously not great, and also takes time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's like when you have an offense that isn't very good, and they also have to be consistent for 7, 8, 9, 10 plays in a row, right, to score, it's generally not good against pretty good defense like Dallas. So I think that the Cowboys offense, they'll put points on the board. Cowboys defense might put points on the board. Bryce Young's thrown himself a couple pick sixes already this year. I'll take that one.
Alan Bell 5-0 last Friday with us in the NFL. If he does that again, he's going to kick me off this segment because I wasn't here. I wasn't here last Friday. No, we don't have any superstitions at all, Alan. For the year in the NFL, you're with us, and you have no clue what games we're throwing at you. You are 21-12. That's 636. For the year, for the year in college, you're 32-27. That's 542. Those two add up to 53 and 39. That's 576. That's making money.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I love it.
So give us your best NFL game.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. You look across the NFL. It is some odd silence out here, but I'll say this, man. As much as I hate to say it in the home state here, the Tennessee Titans, I'm out. Like, I'm out on what they're trying to do. They're going against Jacksonville in Jacksonville. Say what you will about the Jaguars, but that Jacksonville defense has forced 18 turnovers this year. Will Levis, ever since his first, start where he had 4 touchdowns, right? We're all fired up. He's played 2 games since then. He has 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, 8 sacks, and it ain't getting better. So, yeah, I'm not here to play the NFL. Take the Jaguars.
And, Alan, we normally don't ask you about Monday Night Football because a lot can happen between Friday afternoon and Monday, like with personnel. But looking forward to that big one, the best Monday Night Football game of the year, a rematch of the Super Bowl. Yeah. Kansas City, 2.5-point favorite at home against the Eagles. Any leans, anything you like in that?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. Like, I like the Eagles, to be honest with you, to win and cover. Well, obviously win and cover, they plus 2.5. But I also like the over here, 45.5. It's a low total. I think that, usually when you get Patrick Mahomes against another really good quarterback, he tends to show out, as does the other, right? Like, we always get really fun, exciting, shootout style of games. So I like the Eagles to win the game. If you want to take them plus the 2.5, certainly understand, taking the points there. But if you want to play a total, just have fun. Over 45.5 for sure on that one.
I like it. Well, Alan, we won't talk to you next week. We're out on that Friday, so enjoy your Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I look forward to it, boys. I appreciate you guys, and with it being Thanksgiving, I want to thank you guys for having me all year round. So it's been fun, man. I look forward to it. Talk to you
it has been fun.
Thanks, Alan.
Don't eat too much, but eat a lot.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks, Alan.
Really good.
Thank you, Alan Bell. Alan Bell with us every Friday, and again, that record last Friday, 5-0 in the NFL. And with my absence last Friday, I guarantee you, Alan will want to kick me out of here in 2 weeks when he's back with us. Holidays are approaching, also Black Friday and Cyber Monday approaching, and at Gould Salon and Spa, they are having the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sale. You can go to Gould's for the holiday special. Go to any Gould's over the Black Friday weekend or purchase online on Cyber Monday and Tuesday and receive $20 off when you purchase $120 in gift cards for this upcoming holiday season. This holiday season, give someone you love a Gould's gift card, the card that doesn't just send wishes, it grants them. Happy holidays from everyone at Gould's. Gould Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932, about to enter year 92 at Gould's. Mr. Sam Gould, it started just as a barbershop, and it's now grown into this, a family operation, sons and grandsons and granddaughters, and so many employees that are like family, that treat you like family, from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut, upscale ambiance, chic style that once was considered a luxury. We have it all over the place. From downtown to out east, there's a Gould's very close to you, part of the renaissance of Overton Square's the Gould's Salon and Spa there at the Square. This holiday season, give someone you love a Gould's gift card. Give them that Gould's holiday special for Black Friday weekend, or purchase online for Cyber Monday and Tuesday and receive $20 off when you purchase $120 in gift cards. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's, GouldSalon.spa, locally owned and operated since 1932.
Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we got to talk about the game tonight between the Tigers and Alabama State. We've also got to get to our Tiger Bankroll. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today. It doesn't matter if you're at the lake, if you're hunting, fishing, playing golf, or just playing around, Scooters Plus can hook you up with the mobility that you need. Scooters Plus has the largest vehicle and parts inventory in the Mid-South and the best service department. You can choose from ATVs, UTVs, golf carts, motorcycles, dirt bikes, trikes, scooters, and even electric bikes. Come in today to start or wrap up your holiday shopping with 25% down on Christmas layaways. Scooters Plus, 3425 Summer Avenue. Call Sam at 458-8843 or go online to scootersplus.us.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
I know we say it all the time. Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar, is not a sports bar. It's a bar that happens to have sports on the high-def TVs. You know what a great bar Bell Tavern is. You know how great the signature cocktails are. You know how amazing the food is. And all that is what makes Bell Tavern such a great bar. But what sports we have on those TVs this month? If you love college basketball, the NFL, the Grizzlies, and college football, well, for this month, you can pretend Bell Tavern is a sports bar. A very civilized sports bar.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. And Tigers, they're back in action tonight on the hardwood against Alabama State in a game that I guess you could view it as a tune-up game for the battle for Atlantis next week. Now, what you don't want to view it as is not even view it at all and look ahead past this one to Michigan after what they've done to start the season and overlook this Alabama State team, because I think when you look at this team, it's an interesting team. I'm not saying the Tigers are going to go out there and lose tonight, but when you look at what Tony Madlock's son, TJ Madlock, has done, he's a very good player, a dynamic scorer. They've got Amar Knox that comes. He really could, and they've got some really good players, I think, and could be a very interesting team to keep an eye on in their conference. Tigers should win tonight, but Brett, we're never worried about wins and losses when it comes to Tiger Bankroll. We're worried about what that score looks like.
I was stunned. You were too last night when I sent it to you. 30.5. That's just a lot of points. Look, that's almost a point a minute. I mean, a 40-minute game.
It's a big number.
I mean, you just want the clock rolling. One thing for the Tigers tomorrow night. I say this a lot of times about kind of early in the year in the SEC against FCS opponents. Mm-hmm. The Tigers' opponent tonight against Alabama State, it's the Tigers.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
And when you get in that game and you want more playing time, I would highly suggest playing really hard on defense, not jacking up the first open jumper you see just because there's not a hand in your face, and playing well tonight. If you want to play in the Bahamas, play well tonight.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I just said it a second ago. This is the classic look past game where this team is, amped up, ready to go for that tournament. We've been building this tournament up. Everyone's been talking about next week Michigan, maybe Arkansas, potentially North Carolina. Or Villanova. I mean, everyone has been talking about that. Nobody's been talking about this game. Nobody has talked about, Friday night against Alabama State. So, it could be one of those games where the Tigers come out kind of slow and you look up and it's a really close game with, 5 minutes left in the first half, and then they kind of wake up in the second half. But, Tigers will win tonight, but, 30.5 is a massive number.
All right, here's the bankroll numbers so far.
Okay.
Both of us got wins against Jackson State. Johnny took the loss. You and Johnny got a win against Mizzou, as you both had the Tigers. Mm-hmm. I took the loss. I took the big loss. I'm at 900. We started with 1,000. You're at 1075. Johnny's back to the 1,000 where he started. Bryant, you pick first.
I'm gonna go with Alabama State here. A massive number, 30.5. This is an Alabama State team that is covered in both games. They've played Division I opponents, and so I think Tigers win. I think the Tigers win big, but we could be talking about 27, 28-point victory, which is still a massive victory, rather than a 31-point victory. So I'll take Alabama State. I'm gonna take them for 150. How about that?
Whoa!
How about that?
Whoa, Brian.
How about that?
Johnny, you pick. I don't have anything to say. And that's not a good thing.
Well,
I'm rarely speechless, but I am.
That's
right,
a little much, man.
Tigers favored 30.5.
30.5. Who you like?
I got the Tigers.
All right, how much?
I say 150 is crazy.
That's a lot of money.
150 is crazy.
That's a lot of money.
Oh, I say I'll put 40.
40, all right.
Up 40.
40 on the Tigers.
I like the money management. Johnny, you'll either be up 1040 or up 960. I like that. I think there are going to be better opportunities.
Sure.
Brian, 150. I'm stunned.
That's a lot, Brett.
You've been so good at this through the years, and already 2-0 this year.
We're taking a risk tonight.
I'm taking Alabama State as well, but I'm going to go half of 150. I'm going to go 75, and I thought that was going to be the grand prize winner on wager, and you blew it out.
Yeah,
double that.
No, and I don't want anybody to think that this is me being down on the Tigers. I mean, if the Tigers go out there and win by 29, 30 points,
I want 100 to 70.
I mean, Brett, if the Tigers go out there and win by 30 points, everyone's going to be talking about a huge victory for the Tigers. But we'll still be winners. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Right. And so I think this is going to be a good test. I could see this kind of playing out similarly to how that game against Jackson State played. But I'm curious. I want to see, because I was talking to Dave about this morning, is all offseason, Brett, the whole conversation around this team was, wow, look at all the offensive weapons coming in. This team could score 100 points every single time out there. And Penny's first press conference, when he came out, he said, this is the best defensive team
best he's had.
And
that was frightening.
It was. And then he came out, and then after the first game, when they kind of struggled a little bit, was slow, still trying to get their legs under them, he came out and said, this is not how this team should defend. They should be much better. And to see what they did in that second half against Missouri was really impressive.
What they did to the Missouri point guard,
unbelievable,
just shut his water off.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't get his hands on the ball to run the offense, much less shot selection.
No, I mean a tale of two halves, Brett, as I like to say.
I hate to be prisoner of the moment. I swear, I think last Friday night, and I know he wasn't there, but it's his team.
Sure.
Was the all-time win for me in the Penny years.
Yeah, no, it's certainly up there. I think especially because of how that first half played out, because of trailing by 14 and then having to come back in the second half. Brett, I know we got to get to a break here in a second. Did you see any of the Missouri game last night? Did you see the score of that game against Minnesota?
I did. I saw where they were behind and how they fought back.
34-9 run to end the game last night. The final, I think, 10 minutes of that game to win.
That's who Memphis vaporized last week.
Yes.
I'm telling you, again, not to get too heat of the moment, but next week is big.
It's big. It's huge, and we'll.
If I had to do a bracket, I would pick Memphis to win that tournament.
Wow. Wow, I would love that. I mean, I'm not too far away from that with what they showed against Minnesota.
Okay, maybe losing the finals. That means
Missouri, Minnesota. Geez.
That means beating Michigan, beating Arkansas.
No, you're absolutely
right. I got Arkansas winning it all.
Yeah, you do.
The country.
Yeah, the entire. We're talking
one
March.
shiny moment. That's all.
Yeah, we're not talking next
right.
week. We're talking March. No, so it should be a lot of fun next week. Before we get to a break, I got to tell you about East Memphis, Little Italy. Oh man, I was in the mood for some pizza earlier, and when I saw a couple months ago, that a Little Italy location was opening in East Memphis, I was super excited. 6300 Poplar. They're celebrating their new location at the corner of Massey and Poplar. You know, right there behind Walgreens. Take advantage of this deal the rest of November. Buy an 18-inch pizza. Get a bottle of Pasqua Chianti for 56 cents. Yes, you heard that right. 56 cents. Tell them it's the Sports 56 deal. I mean, that's a $30 bottle of wine that you can get for 56 cents now through the end of November at Little Italy, East Memphis's Little Italy. It's a great deal. Just buy one 18-inch pizza. This is one offer per group or per table. You buy that one 18-inch and you'll get that bottle of wine for only 56 cents. East Memphis, Little Italy, 6300 Poplar, where you can taste a piece of Italy. Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the hour. When we come back to start hour number 2, Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. He'll join us. We'll talk more wagering. That's next on Sports Time.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
The 8-2 Memphis football team is home for a huge conference game against SMU this Saturday, November 18th. It's a blackout, so wear black and cheer hard for the biggest game of the season. Tickets start at just $20 as Memphis football continues to work toward a berth in the American Championship game. Be at Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, Saturday, November 18th. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep, that means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
All 36-month lease, $650 acquisition fee must finance through Hyundai. Forte LXS PE 694,095, MSRP 21,610. Sportage R722, 7239, MSRP 28,715. EVP 560, 3393, MSRP 50,200. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 11/30/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Got Jeff Allen here from Gossett Kia, South Mount Moriah. Hey, Jeff, you ready for the holidays with the season of giving back?
I'm ready to give out some great holiday gifts and save you some big bucks. Perfect for the holiday road trips. 41 MPG Highway in a new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month. $27.99 due at signing. Or a big family that needs more room? 2024 Kia Sportage LX with class-leading cargo room and rear seat leg room, $299 a month. $34.99 due at signing.
What about an EV?
2023 Kia EV6 Wind, 134 City, 101 Highway, MPGE, $379 a month. $49.99 due at signing. All 36-month lease.
Plus a free charger with your EV purchase and Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
The way they live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Memphis music legends, the Bar-Kays, will be at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there too. The Bar-Kays will be performing the music that made Memphis at the President's Gala on December 28th at the Peabody, and at halftime of the 65th AutoZone Liberty Bowl game on December 29th.
Everybody say, so big up,
Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl at 795-7700. The Tennessee Highway Safety Office reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. We've had a couple of wrecks in the Midtown area. They just cleared one a few minutes ago over there around Chelsea going eastbound. Traffic's picked up even more in that construction. Here we go. 55 northbound between Macklemore and South Parkway. Sometimes it can slow right there at Crump. Traffic's on the increase down through South Haven. At least it's moving on 55 going southbound down into DeSoto County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry's gearing up for the holiday season. That's just around the corner. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Joining the guys every Friday is college football historian and Vegas legend Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insiders, CBS Sports, and his own website, bamsports.net. With over 30 years on Memphis radio, with handicapping and sports talk, here's Bruce Marshall with Bryant and Brett.
Bruce Marshall joining us from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and bamsports.net. A lot to get to. A lot of games to get to with Bruce. But, Bruce, before we start with any of the games, I've got to ask you, I've been excited to ask you about this. Right now, Formula One is in Las Vegas for their race this weekend. It's been kind of the talk around the sports world of F1 coming to Vegas. But last night, we had a little incident at a practice where a pothole covering was not sealed on properly. It messed up a car. I've heard people in Vegas aren't happy that F1 is there this week because of the way the track is set up. What have you heard about F1 being in Vegas? Have you seen the track? Are you in Vegas right now?
I'm actually. We left Vegas this week just because of the Formula One. Because everybody's coming in, and that's when I usually leave.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, I mean, throughout the last couple months, I mean, they have totally messed up the Strip. Driving. That's bad enough to driving it anyway, but it's become impossible because they've been trying to get the course ready, and it sort of goes a little bit off of the Strip there too. But nobody, I mean, everybody I know who lives there is sort of sworn off driving down there until this thing gets out of town. There's a lot of buzz about it. I know it's kind of cool to have a race, but I mean, you wonder. I mean, we got a nice regular track outside of town there, and then they're running one that down on the Strip. That's not a racetrack. I mean, they can say what they want on Formula One, but it's not. It's not a real race course. So we'll see how it goes. That's the same. I mean, Monaco's the same, I guess, and some of these others. But I mean, it's hard enough just driving regular on the Strip, and then now you got going fast like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Bruce, where's Peter Revson and Jackie Stewart when we need them?
I know. They would beat them. The guy who's in my son-in-law overseas is really into this. He's into this Verstappen guy, so I guess he's there. But yeah, I know. It is kind of neat having it there. It's been a big buzz, but it has sort of messed up the whole Strip for a couple months.
Bruce, they're trying to hit you hard. You got to get out of town because they're all getting there for Formula One, and here comes your taxi increase to pay for the Oakland A's.
Oh, man.
Well, it ain't done yet, and they're. I mean,
it sure isn't. That's a good point, Bruce. It's not done yet.
That part of it is whatever the public contribution is going to be. The MLB has sort of agreed with it. Which here's another one. There's not a lot of people in Vegas who are thrilled about this because, one, it's not as much the cost thing. And they did this before with at the stadium or the Raiders stadium. Didn't cost locals anything. They put tax on tourists coming in and things like that. But It's just the fact the A's are coming here and are coming to Vegas, and John Fisher is so reviled now. The A's do have their minor league team in Vegas, which is fine, but nobody's too excited about the thought of this guy bringing his team after what he's done, stripping that whole thing apart in recent years. I feel bad for the people of Oakland and for the fans. I mean, you can understand why they have abandoned the place, but this is sort of the reality now, and that, California, to get something done is tough. And there's one other big villain in the A's saga. It's the Giants. They're not relinquishing San Jose market. They have territorial rights to San Jose, and they only do that up in the Bay Area where you've got these territorial rights. And apparently, the A's only have rights to Alameda and Contra Costa counties, and they surrendered the rights to Santa Clara County when the Giants were trying to get a stadium built there in '92, when they were threatening to move to Tampa St. Pete, and it lost a ballot measure, but they maintained because the A's relinquished them the rights to Santa Clara County. The Giants held them, and they haven't given them back. Awful by the Giants. And by the way, it's where the 49ers built their stadium. Eventually, that's where that baseball stadium was supposed to go 30 years ago. But the Giants are as much culpable as this as anybody.
Bruce, I swear we're going to get to picks, and you're going to be with us Tuesday before the long, long holiday weekend for us on Sports Time. You're going to be with us on Tuesday at 4 our time, 4 Central. A reminder, I'll send you a reminder. And I swear we're going to get to games, but I told Brian, I said, there's a lot I want to ask you about other than just picking games, and starting with this, kind of the 50,000-foot view of this year. It's my feeling. You tell me yours. I wish I hadn't prejudiced or jaundiced the question. Has this year been any harder or any easier handicapping games, and do you think the man's got it down, that they got these point spreads down with all the algorithms, with all the AI? Is it harder now than ever, or has it always just been hard?
It's no different this year. It's always the same. And it's always tough to pick them good. I mean, I've had good and bad years. This year's sort of middling, but nothing's much different. The point spreads are about the same. I mean, they can listen. All these algorithms, they can say what they want. It's still fed in by people. People are generating those algorithms, and it's
people still playing.
And it's people still playing, so that hasn't changed.
What was the game last weekend? The knucklehead was going in to score, only had about 2 more yards to go, and threw the ball up in the air celebrating. A friend of mine was telling me it cost him.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the Huskies did against Utah. Yeah, that was
that was it. That was the game.
Yeah. Yeah,
he said he wanted to tear his house down.
Yeah, he's lucky. I mean, Seattle, they're pretty rabid. If he did that in the SEC, that guy would have to get into witness protection. But, I mean, I remember that way back in '71, the Steelers did that against the Chiefs in a Monday night game. A receiver named Dave Smith dropped the ball at the 5. He thought that was where the end zone was, and he was going in for a score. By the way, there was one of the points for play of the year the other night. Might have missed this one, but it was in the MAC game at Buffalo at Miami. Miami was up 13. Last couple minutes of the game. Now that's over the spread, which was 7.5, and under the total, which was 37. And Buffalo broke a long pass where the guy got stripped as he was going into the end zone. The ball bounded out. A Buffalo guy recovered the ball, but it turned out his foot was on the line. And so that strip changed the entire result of that game, point spread-wise. Buffalo would have been inside the number, and that total would have gone over if that Miami defender didn't strip the ball. And that looked like a touchdown, an 80-yard touchdown pass, and then all of a sudden it blew up in 1 second. So we've had a couple weird ones like that this year for sure.
Wow. Well, Bruce, let's get to some of these games for this weekend, and let's start with a big one in the SEC. Number 1 ranked Georgia after a really impressive performance last weekend against Ole Miss. They're on the road in Knoxville against 18th ranked Tennessee. Right now, Georgia a 10-point favorite. That total sitting about 58.5. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, I would like to give Tennessee a chance here. But I seem to remember doing that the last 2 years and losing both times. And they are at home where they've played better. I mean, their bad efforts have come on the road, like last week. But I think we've seen enough from Tennessee to know this is not last year's offense with Hendon Hooker. that Milton has had his moments, but he's also had down moments, and the defense is not all that great. And Georgia, I mean, now that they are starting to rev it up again here now, I'm not sure I want to pick the week where they don't do it. Carson Beck's got about almost a full year now under his belt. Bowers is back. And they just seem to be peaking at the right time. The defense, I don't know that defensive front's quite as good as it was the last 2 years, but it's still plenty good enough. And I'm not sure Kirby's going to slip at this point. So I lean to Georgia, I guess a little bit on the under here, 35-19 Georgia, so maybe that's a little bit under. I just don't. I've come down the pike with these two teams in recent years. And by the way, Tennessee has not won in this series since that great game in 2016 when they had like back-to-back Hail Marys in the last 15 seconds, including Dobbs hitting that one at the end, which was a great finish. But that's the last time Tennessee has won, and I think they got to wait at least another year or longer for that to be repeating.
Bruce, I think you were in Oxford that day, and we were watching that game before we both were exiting to head to the stadium that night. That was about the time I was wrapping up pregame, and that was a wild finish. Texas at Iowa State, Texas minus 7.5. Iowa State trying to really just rim wreck Big Orange's year.
Yeah, and you talk about utter chaos. If Iowa State can pull this off, you could have like 4 or 5 teams sitting on 2 losses in the Big 12 into the last week of the regular season. Texas sure looks like it's ripe. It's on the ropes here. I mean, they are blowing leads like a tiring front runner at Keeneland down the stretch. I mean, last week they almost blew a 20-point lead to TCU. Week before they did blow a 21-point lead versus K-State. The week before, I mean, Houston got back after trailing by double digits. I mean, they are really having trouble closing these games out. Brooks is now out. They did get the top running back who was really good. They might be able to replace that, but I mean, and Ewers has come back too. But still, I mean, Brooks would be just going to be a harder guy to replace. But Iowa State has played Texas so tough in recent years. I mean, should have won that game last year in Austin. They fumbled late in the game, down 3, deep in Texas territory, covered that spread. They beat them by 23 2 years ago when Texas wasn't that good and Iowa State was good. But, I mean, that goes back further. I mean, Iowa State's been covering point spreads consistently in this series, and Matt Campbell has got them back. I know they lost a game to Kansas a couple weeks ago when Bean was still in, but they've played much better. And Rocco Beck, the freshman quarterback, once beyond September, he's been pretty good. And Iowa State is bowl eligible, and that's the best defense in the Big 12. One other note, this is the game Alabama people have to watch this week, as well as Washington, Oregon State, because those are two. There are a couple flies in the ointment there for Alabama, even if it can win out here. That includes beating Georgia in the SEC title game, but they still might need some help. Texas losing and Washington losing would help out Alabama a lot in that scenario. And I think Texas loses here, 27-24. I'm taking Matt Campbell and Iowa State to pull the upset.
I'm with you, Bruce. That was my I ain't scared upset of the week with the guys at Jocks yesterday. I'm with you. It just feels very Texas for them to do this. Michigan, are they going to open up a good old-fashioned can of you-know-what on Maryland with everything going on around their program, including my buddy Chris Partridge fired today, the linebackers coach?
If what I hear, if he wasn't cooperating as much with the NC2A, and that's the scuttlebutt, I would have given him a raise, not fire. I mean, that is. I mean, if that's the reason, but whatever. Actually, this week I think Michigan might have a little trouble. I'll tell you why, Brett. Last year, this is the week right before Ohio State. They had a lot of trouble with Illinois, a real lot of trouble last year. And the other game where they had a battle last season was Maryland early in the season. Now that's even when Tua's brother went out, and the backup quarterback kept them in there. And Maryland's speed on the outside really seemed to unnerve Michigan a bit. Maryland has faded late season as they normally do, but I'm not sure that the matchups here are that they're a lot better for Maryland. This is a lot better offense than Penn State had last week and anybody else that Michigan has faced yet this season. So I think they're going to keep within this number. I don't think they win. There's also the week before. I mean, it's hard not to look ahead to Ohio State, and there is a lot swirling around Michigan. So this is a week I think they actually might not cover, and somebody will score more than 15 points, which was the high water mark for Penn State last week. I will take Maryland plus 30 21-20 Michigan. Wow. But I'm going to give the Terps a shot to hang in there this week. We'll see.
I like it. Bruce, I got to go local with the Memphis Tigers. They're at home tomorrow morning at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium hosting SMU. Right now, earlier when I looked, it was about 8.5 in favor of SMU. But right now, SMU -9 over the Tigers. That total sitting about 64.5. What do you like here in Memphis tomorrow?
I think that's too many points. Memphis can trade with SMU. Hennigan and Preston Stone, this is a good matchup. Mm-hmm. Rhett Lashley's doing a nice job at SMU, and maybe his name ought to start coming up, although they could pay pretty well at SMU. But I think Ryan Silverfield has sort of solidified himself, too. And this would be really big for Memphis. They've still only got those 2 slips. And now they didn't help me last week. They had to go to overtime in Charlotte. But in retrospect, that could have been a flat spot for Memphis, too. They still only the Tulane and Mizzou games, which they had a shot in both of those. Those are the only losses. And I think Memphis stays right in this thing. I mean, this is a possible upset bid. I put this right along, Iowa State and Texas as possible upsets here. I do not think SMU should be laying this many points. As good as they've played, a lot of this SMU has just been running up scores against lesser teams. And 2 weeks ago they didn't against Rice. Last week they got North Texas. But a lot of this, in Tulsa and these sorts of teams they're beating up. Memphis is several cuts above those. So I'll go ahead and call the upset here. 38-34 Memphis. Let's call the upset. Take the Tigers and pull the upset over the Mustangs tomorrow.
Bruce, we think too much alike. I promise you we're going to do our picks in about an hour and a half or so, and our scores are frighteningly almost exact in that game. Bruce, have you ever seen Oklahoma in person in college football?
I have not.
Well, book it now, because I was told firmly next year when they come to Oxford in their first year in the SEC, it'll be October 26th. Call your travel agent now.
Okay, there you go. You got a date. I will be
book
there.
It.
I like it. We're talking to.
What's your favorite bet this weekend? Favorite college bet?
This is a funny one. There's 2 of them I'm going to give you. One is UNLV, which is only 1 spread loss this year. That's a game they won against Colorado State. By the way, Barry Odom's name is starting to come up on some of these coaching searches, the rumor mill. And with his offensive coordinator, Brennan Marion, remember that name. This guy is an up-and-comer deluxe. And this go-go offense they've got, and that freshman quarterback, Jaden Maeva, who's one of the best in the country that I've seen. I mean, they could all go as a package deal. That's the way this stuff works now, so we'll keep an eye on that. But they are overachieving, and Air Force has lost altitude big time here. The last 2 weeks, they've lost by double-digit margins, lay in almost 3 touchdowns both weeks, and that sort of stems to their quarterback, Zach Larrier, being hurt. He didn't play at all last week. I'm not sure he's going to be playing tomorrow. But there's a real fine line with these option attacks when they don't, when they tail off like that. And Air Force is on the wrong side of that line. I think UNLV goes in there and wins. That's big for the Mountain West title picture, so I'll take the Rebels here. One other one, speaking of service academies, how about Navy at home against East Carolina in an American game? Navy, 2 wins its last 3, could get bowl eligible. Newberry's defense has played well. 5 home games, 13 points per game. Our line's given them a little bit more at quarterback. East Carolina playing a little better lately, but they don't have much offense. They're lucky to get to 200 yards each week. And, oh, by the way, Navy's won uncovered 4 straight in the series the last 4 years, and it's 7 straight if you go all the way back to 2012. They have had the Pirates' number. It's a short price at Annapolis tomorrow. So I will give Navy a high vote tomorrow against East Carolina.
I like it. Talking to Bruce Marshall from Vegas Insider, CBS Sports, and BAMSports.net. Bruce, let's get over to the NFL. I'm curious, noon on Sunday, our time, Steelers in Cleveland against the Browns. Right now, Cleveland, they're going to start the rookie DTR at quarterback this weekend. They're a 1.5-point favorite right now at home against the Steelers. That total 32.5. What do you like in this one on Sunday?
Yeah, that's like Iowa and Illinois.
Yeah, really?
Totally. I mean, what's going on with this? It's the lowest NFL total in a long time. DTR looked so lost in that game against the Ravens when he was in one time earlier in the season. I don't know, unless P.J. Walker's hurt, I don't know why Stefanski's not going to him. Yeah. I mean, they won a couple of games with him in there. And now they're talking about working Joe Flacco out. I mean, obviously, it's a bad week in the AFC North when Watson and Burrow both go out. So we'll see. I think Pittsburgh can go in there and win. They seem to have a knack in these close games, and that's maybe Mike Tomlin. They just don't. The defense makes plays. They don't seem to make mistakes in these close games. Pickett is not having a great year, but they seem to be able to do just enough. 16-13 Steelers. It might stay under.
Wow.
Like I said, if DTR looked, if he struggles, I'm not sure Stefanski's going to stick with him the whole game. He's got another option with Walker, but Pittsburgh in a close game like that, I'd rather take Tomlin. He seems to be able to get it done.
16-13, that screams AFC North, doesn't it? Really a good time for the Detroit Lions. This week's usually their week, Thanksgiving, with all the attention on that noonish Central Time game, but also against their old rival, the Bears, a 7.5-point favorite. Detroit at home on Sunday, Detroit at home on Thursday. A chance for them to really get some distance in that NFC North. Detroit and Chicago, who do you like?
Yeah, I think they're going to start pulling away because I think Minnesota's going to start losing pretty soon here. But Justin Fields supposedly gets back on the field for the Bears, and he had started to play well right before he hurt his thumb. He had a great game against Washington about 6 weeks ago on a Thursday. They did okay with Badgett. The Bears don't look all that bad when you watch them. But now Fields is back, so the Lions better be on the alert. But they have been so consistent this year, their ability to run the ball, whether it be Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama or David Montgomery from Iowa State, is breathtaking because they are one team that can really do that. And Jared Goff is continuing to perform. And I don't want to pick against the Lions, who've also been a great point spread team since about the middle of last year. I think it's now 16-3-1 versus the spread their last 20. So 34-20 Detroit. That might go over the total. Bears seem to get involved in those sorts of games, especially with Fields in there. But they ain't going to outscore the Lions unless something strange happens at Ford Field.
Bruce, what is your favorite NFL game of the weekend?
Crazily, the Raiders. Plus, this line has gone up to almost 2 touchdowns, and I think Miami has been getting overinflated all year.
You do realize Clarence Davis is not playing in this game for Kenny Stabler falling down to throw it to him.
Yes, I do. I know that, and and this is not a vintage. And Raiders ain't playing the Jets or the Giants this week. That make any team look good the last 2 weeks, but it is a little different. Getting McDaniels out, I mean, it looked like everybody sort of hated him in Vegas, and Pierce, at least the players like him, and he is doing something that I like. They are really leaning on Josh Jacobs to run the ball. That's slowing the games down. This one might be an under as well, but Jacobs is starting to run again, and I think O'Connell is a better option than Jimmy G. And like I said, the Dolphins have been, they don't do it every week. I mean, a couple times they've looked breathtaking, but for the most part, I mean, it's been kind of a struggle. I'll take the Raiders plus almost 2 full touchdowns down at Hard Rock on Sunday.
NFL team getting 13.
Yeah.
That game I mentioned, Stabler to Clarence Davis, was that against the Dolphins, or did I confuse it, or was it against the Steelers?
No, that was Dolphins. That was the 1974 division round, and that stopped the Dolphins from a three-peat, and they had a big Benny Malone and Nat Moore scored touchdowns as the Dolphins came back to lead, but the Raiders, that miracle pass right at the end, saved it. Then they lost to Pittsburgh the next week, so a lot of Raider fans forget they lost the next game, but they did.
Well, Bruce, before we let you go, where can we find more of you?
Yeah, check us out online. My picks up there at VegasInsider.com. And we got all this college basketball going now. A bunch of games actually going on now and tonight. A bunch of picks there. And that's also college hoops, NBA, NHL, college football, and NFL. VegasInsider.com. Also, CBS Sportsline, Sportsline.com. And you can find me up there at the CBS Sports HQ. I can't tell you when because I don't even know when they're going to put me on. They just sort of give me a call and they say, "Are you ready?" So anyway, you watch that enough, you'll see me showing up at CBS Sports HQ.
I love it. Bruce, thanks so much for joining us.
We'll visit Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Okay, boys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Good luck to you this weekend. And this weekend, here's your to-do list for the weekend. Put this down. You're going to want to write down, go to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. First exit down Highway 78, Kraft Goodman Road. You're there, and that's where all the Silverados are. And if they have a red tag on them, you're getting a great deal. Kevin and Jeff said they'll get you financed as low as 1.9% or $2,000 back in cash. You could get one of the new Equinox with financing as low as 1.9 or $1,000 cash back. Your good credit deserves it. You'll get it at All-Star. Happy Thanksgiving and happy holiday season to everyone from the great people in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, where any new Chevy you want, they have them. Tahoes, Trailblazers, and a lot of families I know just love the Traverse with all the cargo space in that third row seat, so you can do more together this holiday season. Teachers, college students, military, healthcare workers, you get a $500 bonus. If you want a certified pre-owned Chevy or any pre-owned, All-Star, their lot's full. Ram trucks, a Lexus, a Nissan Rogue, Silverados, Honda, Suburbans, Jeeps, they've got them. If it's not on the lot, ask Jeff and he'll find it for you. Kevin and Jeff asked me to thank all of you who brought their cars and your trucks to All-Star to sell this year. You can get a check today for some great cash. Remember, it's not South Haven, not Mount Moriah or Bartlett or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we've got to talk some Arkansas Razorbacks and a little bit of SEC. Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas, he's next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's time for the holidays.
Blah, humbug.
What, you're not all excited for the turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce?
The cooking, the cleaning, the relatives.
Well, you got people coming in from out of town?
So many people.
It'll be fun.
All I want to do is go to Central Barbecue.
That's all you ever want to do.
Alone.
Come on, it's the holidays.
Just sitting there in a booth all by myself, enjoying Central Barbecue, no family, being all festive.
Well, you enjoy your own private Central Barbecue holiday.
That is all I ask. Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Sports 56 Traffic.
Good afternoon. We're watching the movement right over to the side right now on 40 eastbound near New Airline Road. That's going to be right in Shelby County, but just before you get into Fayette County on 40 going eastbound out there around 269. It's crowded over here in the construction zone. 55 northbound, especially up by Crump. It's been slow on and off today there between Macklemore and South Parkway. It's building now 240 on to 385 Bill Morris Parkway. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry's gearing up for the holiday season. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Time to talk Razorbacks on Sports Time. Joining the guys is Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas to talk all things Hogs and SEC. On Twitter X at Ty Sports Radio, here's Ty Richardson with Bryant and Brett.
Come on, all you Razorback fans, let's stand up and call those Hogs!
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios. And joining us now from ESPN Arkansas to talk some Hogs, Ty Richardson joins us now. Ty, thanks so much for joining us. And let's start with some of the rumors, some of the talk. We know about what's happened down at Texas A&M. We know what has happened about Mississippi State. But for Sam Pittman, what have you heard the last couple of days, the last week or so, about his job going into the last 2 weeks of the regular season?
Guys, I initially thought there was a chance that he could be let go as of last week, and I didn't put anything into social media or anything because it was just a gut feeling. Mm-hmm. And unless they lose to Florida International, I think he's going to hold on to his job. And I guess the one caveat to that is if they get beat by like 45 to Missouri, which Eli Drinkwitz and company are capable on that offense. Schrader coming here and doing that, but I think at this point he's going to keep his job, but it's going to be the hottest seed in the SEC, I would argue, this next year if he's able to make it to year 5.
Wow. What is the biggest argument or discussion point that you can make, Ty, for keeping him?
It's a great question, Brett, and it's a fair one. So you got 18 super seniors that could potentially come back. He made a good hire in Travis Williams. Made a bad hire in Dan Eno, so you're holding this on the solace that the defense is going to be able to retain. They've hit in the portal. They've hit. It just hasn't been enough. So, and stability is another thing. I mean, you think about the transition with Texas and Oklahoma coming in the league. Brett, you know this better than I would. 92, they didn't have the right coach when they came to the SEC. 2012, John L. Smith, they didn't have the right coach. Another SEC transition with the additions of A&M and Missouri. And then this next year, you're either going to keep Sam Pittman or you're going to transition to another new coach with 2 powerhouse blue bloods coming in the league. So I would think that would be another kind of advantage of keeping Sam Pittman.
If you're wrong and he is replaced, give me the best rumor that really could happen for replacement.
I'd be curious to see how much Jeff Traylor would get a look. I don't think he's a big enough name for Texas A&M, even though he's the right guy maybe. Mm-hmm. I think Dan Campbell ultimately would be the best hire, but he's not going to leave the Lions based on their season right now. I think that's a name that it's tied to Chad Morris, so I don't think it's going to happen, but I do think there would be a possibility potentially. I know Jamie Chadwell's name is going to be tossed out because of his connection to Coastal Carolina, which I don't think Hunter Yurchek was the athletics director at the time when he was there. Y'all might have to tell me. I don't even know where Tom Herman is right now.
Florida Atlantic.
FAU, at Florida Atlantic.
Yeah. He might, I know it didn't work out at Texas, but I liked Herman at Houston. And I just wonder.
Loved him.
I just wonder if that would fit in Fayetteville. If something was to change. I don't know if it would, but I'd be curious if that would fit there. Because I hated him in Texas. I kind of liked him in Houston.
Yeah, and you look back at his Texas record, and it's not that bad. They just didn't have, their appetite's just so big. He's loosey-goosey. He's very Lane-esque, and I asked Coach Kiffin if he had any consultation at all with Herman about the FAU job. He said, yeah. He said, I told him the truth. It's the best job in the country for 353 days a year.
Oh, man, yeah, being Boca is not a bad place to be. And,
but then those 12 game days, it's not a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's there's talent. I want to say there's like 200 and something 3-star better players in Florida. The Gators, the Seminoles, even the Bulldogs and Clemson. They can't get all of them, but I would say it's. And Kiffin had success there, which is saying something. So I'd be real curious to see if Herman would be a name that would somehow percolate in Fayetteville. Which I'm driving up. Right, you're gonna love this. I'm driving up the old. Is it 71? Is that the old highway to get
from
there?
Alma?
Okay. Yeah, that's that's what I'm doing. I'm taking the scenic route, the Brett Norsworthy route to get to university, as you'd call it.
The views, the vistas are great on it, and now no big trucks. I did it a few years ago. In fact, COVID year, when Ole Miss played up there, I took that route and ate at that great diner on top of the Boston Mountain.
I got bad news for you, man. It's closed down now. Grandma, you're talking about grandmas?
I don't know. I thought it was like the Bluebell or something like that.
Okay, there's a couple on that route. So I think Grandma's is close. I think that one is still alive. But yeah, it's COVID unfortunately affected some small businesses, not just here in Arkansas, but
no doubt.
Yeah.
So Ty, who are the fans? Because they've got to send their ire, their anger at someone. Is it at Sam Pittman? Is it at Hunter Yurchek? Who is it mostly directed at? Is it at KJ Jefferson? See, that's one thing about staying with Sam Pittman. I don't know that the fans can look up and see KJ Jefferson back at quarterback next year.
Yeah, and a couple things. We had one caller this week, Ryan from Fayetteville, that is the only one that's taken his anger towards Hunter Yurchek. Most people are like, Hunter's got one more chance to fix his football hire, or, hey, he's got to figure this out. Stan's taking a good brunt of it. A topic of our show this morning is I don't see how KJ Jefferson comes back to Fayetteville next year. I don't see a scenario.
Familiarity is bred contempt.
Yeah, and he's done some great things here, and I'm going to wish him well wherever college. I don't think personally he'd be smart to put his name in the draft process. And well, I say that. If you put your name in the draft process, you don't like what you hear, go back to college, see if you can make some more money. I ultimately think he's going to enter the transfer portal, was reunion with Kendall Briles in Fort Worth. I know I was curious about Ole Miss quarterback situation. I saw Dart's coming back. Lane Kiffin said that earlier this week or yesterday, wherever it was.
It was never going to be KJ Jefferson.
Yeah, I'd be curious if he wound up at an SEC school somewhere. Ultimately, I think he's going to transfer to like a Big 12 or somewhere else, but I do not see him as the starting quarterback in Fayetteville next year.
Ole Miss didn't want him at quarterback out of high school, and they would play Walker Howard ahead of him next year.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Dart's name back. I thought he would be another guy that would, like, he's had some games, but I just don't know if he's the QB that Lane Kiffin needs to put them over the top at this point. Like, he's been good at times, but you have to be a special kid to beat Alabama and Georgia, and I don't necessarily see that ceiling in him.
Yeah, not many people beat those guys, though.
No, that's true. There's only a few Newtons, Manziels. Those names are pretty prominent, and a lot of times have a Heisman Trophy in their mantle as well.
Yeah, few and far between. Talking to Ty Richardson from ESPN Arkansas. Well, while the football team is wrapping up their regular season, the basketball team just getting their season rolling and undefeated, 3-0 right now. Game tonight against UNC Greensboro, and Arkansas kind of in the same boat the Tigers are in. I think a lot of the fan base has said, okay, let's get through tonight's game and then on to the battle for Atlantis. What is the excitement level around the basketball team for this tournament next week, where the possibilities of, I know we're excited to maybe the possibilities of playing Arkansas, but then also North Carolina, Villanova also in this field?
I want to play Memphis.
Yeah.
North Carolina's beat Arkansas in 3 of their tournament exits as of late, pre-Musselman. I don't like that school either. But I heard Penny talking this week. I mean, he wants to get that home and home. Yeah. And I'm all for it. Brett, you and I agree 100%. We want Forum, Fayetteville. No, Little Rock.
Yeah. No Nashville. Yeah. I don't want to play in anywhere but FedEx Forum and Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, so I'm excited. That's that's the game I'm looking forward to. Hopefully both squads win on Wednesday night and play each other on Thursday. But it's just a cool event. College basketball, you got college football, of course, the Egg Bowl that Thursday night. You got the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. I mean, there's just so many different sporting events to look forward to this next week. And Arkansas is kind of smack dab in the middle of everything.
Ty, unbelievably, we're out next Friday, so we won't have a chance to visit, and you'll be covering the Arkansas-Missouri game as we speak at this time next Friday, and I'll be there in attendance with friends going to see the Razorbacks play next Friday. So the next time we talk to you will be after. Is that right? Yes, it will be. It'll be after the Razorbacks play Duke.
Oh man, you're not coming to that game, are you, Brett?
No, I can't make it. That Wednesday night, Bryant and I are sitting on the front row, compliments of Sissy's Log Cabin, feet on the wood at the Grizzlies game.
Yeah, we are.
Oh man, well, congrats! That's going to be a blast.
That'll be fun.
It is, and there might be something special corked up for that Wednesday night from both sides, so just stay tuned for that. I mean, they've got this documentary coming out the Monday.
Oh, please tell me Slobbering Hog. Please tell me on the court.
That's what everyone wants, man. And I'm a 28-year-old. You've got a few years on me, and you like it. I like it. That logo transcends time and generation.
Just move it from Barnhill right on over. Should have never been taken away. That forward-facing hog, they need to fire the marketing people that designed it.
That would be Mr. Jeff Long and his administration. But no, it's going to be.
Well, he got fired. That's good.
Yeah. It is going to be an exciting game. Arkansas is going to be battle-tested before they hit conference play, and the Auburn Tigers come into Bud Walton on January the 6th. So college basketball, again, it gets eaten alive the first month or so by college football, but that Wednesday night, every Razorback fan that is going to have their eyes on because again, football's over, not going to a bowl game. You'll have 19,000 plus in Bud Walton Arena, and there will be 8:15. That is appointment television on ESPN.
What's the going rate for tickets?
Let me tell you something, Brett. It's the most expensive ticket I think I've ever heard. I have a friend that sold his 2 tickets for $1,600, $800 pop. I had other friends that bought them for $375. Lower deck, like you can't get a lower deck ticket right now, or lower bowl ticket, excuse me, for like less than $400.
Good.
I mean, it's unbelievable. And that atmosphere, when Auburn came in 2 years ago and Arkansas beat them, number 1 team in the country, overtime, it was great. But that's not a traditionally rich program. You got Chuck Persons and Charles Barkley, and that's it.
Yeah.
I guess Jabari Smith Kessler has a late. But, I mean, Duke, rattle them off. Hurley, Leitner. I mean,
biggest 4 letters in the history of the sport.
Exactly. And a team that everyone despises. Just despises. It doesn't matter if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Arkansas, Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
I don't like John Shire, and I've never met the man.
Yeah. He was a stud on that 2010 national championship team, but I think he's going to get out-coached that night. And I would say Duke's got more talent. That Filipowski kid's unbelievable. Proctor, Roach. But Shire's going to get out-coached that night in Bud Walton Arena.
Well, it's going to be a fun next couple of weeks.
The crew I'm going with to the Missouri game, we've all said that we never need our Razorback bona fides ever challenged again by going to Mizzou up and back same day in this kind of season.
Yeah, I don't know. Listen, I'll give you credit. I know you like to come to like a game a year. This is tough. And Razorback fans, I feel for them. Trust me, I'm as angry as I've been in a long time when it comes to this football team. I say a long time, maybe more years, but Sam's got 2 games to rally the troops, and it's not, in some people's mind, it's not going to be enough, and I get that, but you got what's probably going to be a 9-win Missouri team walking into your house, and I know that most people don't consider it still a rivalry, but Drinkowitz likes to talk a little smack. We saw that in Columbia last week when he said whatever he said to Heupel, so you better not get your tail kicked, or he's just going to be chirping after that game.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a lot of fun for certainly to watch these last couple of weeks of college football and then college basketball getting turned up. But like Brett said, we're not going to talk to you next week because we're out on next Friday. So enjoy Thanksgiving next week, Ty, and we'll talk to you again, I guess, in 2 weeks.
Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. Good wishes to all you and yours, and y'all have fun at the Grizzlies game coming up as well.
Thanks, Ty.
We will. Thank you, Ty.
All right. See you guys.
Ty Richardson with us every Friday talking the Razorbacks, and we mentioned on the night of the 29th, Brian and I will be at the Grizzlies. Thanks so much to Sissy's Log Cabin, and we're going to be able to tell you about that experience because we're going to give away those same seats for January 3rd to start the new year the right way for Grizzlies in Toronto.
Ooh,
some lucky listener will be able to win that. All compliments of Sissy's Log Cabin, part of what they do in this community, the official jeweler of the Grizzlies, official jeweler of the Memphis Tigers, strong supporters of both and sponsors of our look back at the weekend in the SEC every Monday at 4:30. The new location opening really soon. I hope we're going to be out there for a remote, weather permitting, at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones, his great team, they're here to stay. Some blow in and out overnight and then gone, but not Sissy's Log Cabin. Part of the fabric of the community, the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, necklaces, and earrings since 1970 with 6 locations across Arkansas and Tennessee. 9,000 square foot store coming soon in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Cartier, Rolex, diamonds, and more. Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. They're the official jeweler for the Grizzlies and the Tigers and FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge in the Sissy's Log Cabin Club in the seating area. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary experience because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
All right, Brett, we got to get to our weekend bingo cards real quick before we get to this break. I'll start with mine and run through them. I have 2 for college football, 2 for the NFL, like I like to do it. My first one, Michigan talk with everything that has happened this entire week, really, and the new firing that came out today on that Michigan staff. Michigan Talk is going to completely take over both Big Noon and College Game Day tomorrow morning. I think that's probably an easy check off. My second one, Tigers are going to get a victory tomorrow at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. They're going to win that game against SMU, so a Tigers win is the second on my bingo card. My third and my first one for the NFL, more C.J. Stroud hype after the weekend. I think he's going to have another big week for the Texans, and we're going to come in Monday and Sunday evening talking a lot about C.J. Stroud and just the incredible talent he is. And then my final one, Justin Fields back at quarterback for the Bears. Justin Fields overreactions. One way or the other, he's going to go out and have a great game, and people are going to say, he's back, or he's going to go out and have the game that you would expect someone coming back from an injury would have, and people are going to pile on him. So my final one, Justin Fields overreactions.
All right, here's my 4, all from college football since we're getting down to the end of it. I think I've said this, but I'm hearing it everywhere I turn on now. Put this on your card. Styles make fights. Everybody feels like they have to say that now. Another one, I think I've used it. Find me if I use it again. The college football ecosystem.
I like that. I
like
it.
Man, I mean, everybody feels like they have to use it. With Tennessee and Georgia playing tomorrow, and I don't think an announcer could do this now, they would get creamed out there on social media. I don't think you could make yourself this part of the game, but you're going to hear Larry Munson and the hobnail boot call a bunch with that game, and this is going to be a theme tomorrow from our good buddy Desmond Howard. Let's move on. Let's talk football.
That's right.
Let's move on.
Right.
Let's talk football. There's no need to rehash this.
Right.
That's interesting, the move on crowd when they're ready to move on.
Yes, that is going to be an interesting story to follow, Desmond Howard and game day tomorrow when there's going to be a lot of Michigan talk, certainly.
Let's talk football. Move on. We don't need the soap opera,
That's
Brian.
in the past. Yeah, exactly. Let's go ahead and move on and get to a break. When we come back, it will be time for Big Number of the Day.
56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choate's has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choate's also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choate's Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your Early Bird Special today. And turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous, serving the official barbecue of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Grizz Nation, it's go time. Catch your Grizzlies this Sunday at 7 p.m. when they take on Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics. Get hyped. Get ready for a star-studded show and secure tickets today by calling 901-888-HOOP or visiting Grizzlies.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, I have a couple of big numbers today, and the first one, it's kind of breaking news, and that's why I'm making it a big number. Let's say 4, because that's right in the middle of what was just announced for the length of time that Marcus Smart is expected to miss. This was just put out by the Memphis Grizzlies PR team, a medical update. Memphis Grizzlies guard Marcus Smart has been diagnosed with a left foot sprain, which was sustained during the November 14th game against the Los Angeles Lakers. Smart is expected to return within 3 to 5 weeks. Further updates will be provided as appropriate. I mean, it
won't
just
touch 5 weeks either.
No, it will be way longer than that. I mean, it just keeps getting worse for the Grizzlies.
When do you think he plays again? It's never the time frame they say.
I don't know. End of December.
I'm going to say we don't see him again before 2024.
Really? I mean, I almost said January, but
just serial fibbers about this.
It really is. I mean, it's almost like the medical team comes to him and says, "Okay, Marcus Smart, he's probably going to be out for about 2 months," and they go, "Well, we can just say about a month, and we'll update it later."
Always.
I mean, it's crazy.
We're going to watch this, and I guarantee you, it won't get close. That 3, I don't even know why they said 3 to 5, but that's terrible news, regardless of how long it is. If it's one game, is too much. My big number is 9. That's the number of wins the Memphis Tigers are going for tomorrow. And, Bryant, for seasoned Tiger football fans and watchers, the idea of win 9 and maybe 10 in a regular season, even since Justin Fuente got it turned around and got it right, don't take this for granted. Enjoy this. It's really hard to do. All these games around the country, you see it in every league. It's mostly offensive, mostly a lot of prolific offenses, not a lot of defenses, and the games are really narrow. You could change a couple plays for a lot of teams, and the records wouldn't be as sporty. Oregon State's one of those.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I mean, I remember here in Memphis.
Look at Kansas State.
Kansas State, that's a good one. But, I mean, Brett, I remember just a couple of years ago. I mean, now the years are building up, but I remember when Memphis had their first 9-win season under Fuente, and everybody was I mean, couldn't believe it. Oh, Tigers won 9 games. Tigers won 10 games. I mean, it was something that we couldn't believe at all. And so the fact that there's a chance to get there tomorrow with a win against SMU is absolutely huge. Another big number as we're going out that I'll give 3. Memphis women's soccer team has scored 3 goals today against Notre Dame in their second round game of the NCAA tournament. That game's still going up. They're up 3-1, which is really impressive for that really extraordinary soccer team. But before we get out and wrap up this hour, I got to tell you again about East Memphis Little Italy. I told you earlier about how excited I was that they were opening up a Little Italy in East Memphis, and it's finally here, 6300 Popular. They're celebrating their new location on the corner of Massey and Poplar, right behind Walgreens. You know that area, right over there by International Paper. There's that Chick-fil-A right there. You know where this Little Italy is located, but it's brand new. They just opened, and right now, take advantage from now to the rest of November. Buy an 18-inch pizza and get a bottle of Pasqua Chianti for 56 cents. Tell them it's the Sports 56 deal. That's a $30 bottle of wine that you can get for 56 cents if you go in and tell them that Sports 56 sent you. So go in, buy an 18-inch pizza for your family, go with your friends, go with a group, and get that 18-inch pizza and get that 56 cents bottle of wine. It's one offer per group or family table at East Memphis Little Italy, 6300 Poplar, where you can taste a piece of Italy. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up this hour. When we come back, we'll talk Tiger basketball with Jason Munz.
The 8-2 Memphis football team is home for a huge conference game against SMU this Saturday, November 18th. It's a blackout, so wear black and cheer hard for the biggest game of the season. Tickets start at just $20 as Memphis football continues to work toward a berth in the American Championship game. Be at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium Saturday, November 18th. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
Brian, how do you think we should do?
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with 2 of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings & Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings & Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. MPD's on the scene of this wreck. They got one lane blocked up here on 240 westbound, just past Poplar before you get to Billmore's Parkway. It's heavy in the eastbound lanes, that's for sure, as you head up past Poplar on 240, continuing on up to Sam Cooper. Now, it's picked up with more volume just in the last few minutes over here than construction. Sometimes it's just downright slow. 55 northbound as you try to get up to Crump. Again, right over there in that construction zone. Weimer's Jewelry's gearing up for Black Friday next week. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Third and final hour on this very busy Friday afternoon with so much going on. Tiger basketball tonight. Tiger soccer ongoing as we speak. I don't know if I've ever had a soccer update in all the years I've done this, but it's looking good for the hometown team in the soccer. And then tomorrow, we know the stakes tomorrow at the football stadium against SMU. But it's time to talk Tiger basketball, and we do it every Friday with the beat writer from the Commercial Appeal. That's Jason Munns on the Tigers basketball beat for the Commercial Appeal, and he's presented by Jim's Place Grill, where they've been for over 100 years with charcoal grill steaks, over 100 years of celebrations, family time, lasting memories, and fun Tiger games. The Terrace family with their touch for our community, recipes that date back to the beginning in downtown to now in Collierville at the railroad tracks at Poplar and Houston Levee. Online at jimsplacegrill.com. Don't forget the E in Grill. And remember to visit Jim's Place during the holiday season for an office function, a family get-together, or to watch this game tonight if you're not going downtown, or to watch all the games from all the leagues and every team this weekend. Every state grill perfectly over an open flame. Lunch hours Monday through Friday, 11 a to 2 p.m. Dinner hours Monday through Saturday, 5 p.m. to 9:30. Since 1921, a Memphis landmark where hard work, values, and a dedication to their diners have stood the test of time. The Terrace family, they've created a memorable dining experience, and you get it every time at Jim's Place. The staples at lunchtime, like the souffle ma, the shrimp cocktail, the crab cakes, and those salad dressings, all homemade, to dinner. And it's time for dinner. The calamari, soup, seafood, and the steaks that they're famous for. Ribeyes, fillets, and strips. Fantastic bar area to watch all the games and enjoy the good times with your friends at Jim's Place Grill in Collierville. I bet he's already courtside in his seat, ready for tonight's game at FedEx Forum. But, Jason, I got to tell you, I'm ready for you to get to the Bahamas and ready for those games next week.
You and me both. Yeah, Turkey Day on the beach. It should be a good one. But tonight we got Alabama State, Tony Madlock coming home with his Hornets and some familiar faces on his team, T.J. Madlock, Amar Knox, just Stephen Walker, who played around in the Memphis area in his high school career. And he's got some other pieces. He's got a Georgetown transfer that's playing pretty well. So, it should be I am here. I am in the building. You must be here too.
No, I'm in Oxford.
Well, I was courtside, but the music, the music forced me into the bowels of the arena, so that
it's a rule, Jason. It's a rule now at sports. All the pregame music has to be so loud only dogs can hear it.
Yeah, it's but the ironic thing is there's hardly anybody in here to hear it. Period.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Even if humans could hear it, there's not any in here to hear it. But
Jason, last Friday night was special.
Yeah.
It was more than a win, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It did a lot. I mean, really, I think what it did was give this team confidence. I mean, I think the team had confidence already, but like, when you can have that reinforcement, when you can reinforce it with something that you can point to and something that other people can see, it amplifies it. It certainly it magnifies it, and so I think that was, when a win is more than a win, that's why. That sort of thing is why. Nobody got hurt. Everybody played well for the most part. They figured some things out. They learned a little bit about themselves. They learned little bit about each other, and got a resume. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But it looks like a decent chance it'll be a quad one win by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And those, as we know, even though the non-conference schedule this year is really, really strong, the more you can get of those, the better. Now in this new AAC.
Well, Jason, we were talking about it earlier. It seemed like this offseason, when you started seeing the talent come in from the transfer portal, a lot of the talk was about, look at this, what this offense can be. Look at all these offensive weapons, all these points that you're adding to this roster. But Penny, his first couple of press conferences before the season kind of made a point to talk about, this is the best defensive team that I've had since I've gotten here. This team can be an unbelievably great defensive team. And I think we saw just what he was seeing and what he was talking about in that second half against Missouri when they held the Tigers to only 19% from the field. What did you see from this Tigers team in that second half against Missouri?
Well, they went small.
Yeah.
They played with a sense of urgency, which I thought was really good. Starting about the 4-minute mark or so in the first half, they really kind of started playing with a sense of urgency. In the second half, Rick Stansberry's talked about this a lot. He went small. He went away from Nick Jourdain. He went away from Malcolm Dandridge because that wasn't working. So he inserted Caleb Mills and kind of let him, told him, hey, that guy that scored 14 points in like an 8-minute span in the first half, don't let him do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And not only did he, everybody's talking about how Sean East II scored 14 points in the first half against Memphis. Dude couldn't miss. He was unconscious. How he scored 0 in the second half, largely because of Caleb Mills. Not only did he not score any points in the second half, he didn't get off a single shot. I think that is, to me, that's the sign of, somebody really buckling down and taking the assignment almost personally. And Caleb Mills deserved a lot of credit for it and got a lot of credit for it from not only Stansberry, but also his teammates, Javon Quinterly and Jordan Brown. We talked to them after the game, and they were effusive in their praise for the work that Caleb Mills did to keep Sean East at bay in the second half. Not only, taking a step further, Sean East, as well as he played in the first half, I've already mentioned he didn't score in the second half. No field goal attempts, and I think either 2 or 3 free throw attempts, and he missed all of those. So wow. he was getting worked over pretty good.
Yeah, no, he absolutely was. For tonight's
Got
game,
destroyed.
Yeah, he really did. For tonight's game, Jason, what do you expect from the starting lineup? Do you think we see any changes tonight against Alabama State?
It seems like there's going to be. I get the feeling that there will be. Penny kind of, when he was asked about it yesterday afternoon, he kind of he got coy a little bit, shall we say. And I know he's not going to be here tonight, but obviously he's the one calling the shots with the starting lineup. So I think he probably will make a change. I mean, I don't know exactly, the scale, the scope of the changes. I don't know if it's going to be, what we all thought it was going to be last week. I don't know. I mean, but he did talk a lot about Caleb Mills and Jordan Brown, how he thinks they kind of got what he was trying to get across to them. That he needs more energy out of them if they're going to be in the starting lineup. He said he thinks they kind of understand that now, and that usually, I don't know. I kind of take that to mean that those guys are going to be in the starting lineup. Starting five you're going to see tonight is the projected start. The ones that we all thought would be in the starting five from the outset. So, and it's a good time for it. It's a good night to change things up when you've got a lower tier opponent coming in, and you're getting ready to go on a trip that could be very important.
It could be a trip. I said earlier to Brian, I don't think this is being hyperbolic. I really don't. I don't mean it to be outlandish. 1 week from right now, the Tigers' NCAA tournament seed could largely be set.
I agree. Yep, I agree with you 100%. It could be, another 8-9 year, or it could be we're talking like 5-6, somewhere like that, if things go right. Obviously, a lot of these teams have to hold up their end of the bargain. We're a couple of weeks into the season now, and we're starting to see some teams that, you thought would be good resume builders don't seem like it anymore.
Needed that Mizzou comeback last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, or not necessarily anymore, but at this point in time, I mean, like a few days ago, people were, everybody was on this thing like, oh, Michigan, like, Michigan is all of a sudden that's going to be this huge marquee matchup, and I'm not downplaying the matchup by any stretch of the imagination, but Michigan's signature win so far, and granted it's a very young season, but Michigan's signature win so far is St. John, which had to bite their nails all the way to a 1-point victory against North Texas yesterday, and then lost by double digits today to Dayton. And not saying anything against Dayton, but Dayton's the favorite to win the A-10, all that good stuff. But like, if Dayton and Michigan are on the same plane, then I don't think Michigan is quite as good as a lot of people, as much as the hype as they are getting.
Well, you mentioned Michigan, and we won't talk to you again before the Tigers are playing in the Battle for Atlantis, and they start with Michigan, but then potentially Thanksgiving Day a game against Arkansas, then potentially maybe North Carolina or Villanova. What do you make of this field that we'll see next week?
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants Arkansas, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
Like they haven't played in 20 years or whatever it is, 30 years. However long it's been a very long time since they played Arkansas, and that was a great rivalry when it was going strong. And they're number 14 in the AP poll this week. You got Chandler Lawson on the other side. I mean, a lot of storylines going into that game. That potential matchup, I should say. That's the one I want. Don't want to see Stanford for the second year in a row.
Thank you.
I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And then, I mean, depending on how things shake out, you may see North Carolina. You may see, like you said, Villanova. Texas Tech is a possibility in the last day. Northern Iowa. Nothing against those teams, but you'd certainly, for resume purposes, rather see those others. But yeah, like Brett was saying a second ago, like this next week is going to, I mean, it's huge. It really is. I mean, and it's not like Memphis doesn't have other opportunities coming up. They've got UVA coming here and Clemson, and you're going to Texas A&M and going to Ole Miss and to VCU. Like there's still some strong, some good stuff coming up, but that battle for Atlantis, I mean, I personally, I think Memphis is going to be in the top 25 come next Monday. They're knocking on the door right now.
Yeah.
I think they'll get in on Monday if they, take care of business tonight. And if that's the case, then there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on that tournament next week. Not just analytically driven, bracketologists. It's going to be like, real people, real committee members.
It matters.
Selection committee eyeballs are going to be on that tournament, so it's going to be huge.
Jason, I know in Tiger basketball history, they've run into Michigan in these type of tournaments. And with all the games against Arkansas, I don't ever remember one in this kind of tournament. I remember NCAA tournaments and great games, but I don't remember one like this. And I don't think the Tigers have ever played North Carolina in men's basketball.
Boy, I would like. I should know that. I don't know that, but I take.
That's what the airplane flight's for. That's what you'll be working on.
Yeah. No, I trust you, and boy, that adds another intriguing element to that possibility, to that possible matchup. It really has sort of become the the great in-season tournament, regular season tournament.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Out of all these MTEs that get played around the country and around and I guess outside the continental U.S., this is the one that I think year in and year out consistently brings out, the hosts the best fields. Let's be real, Texas Tech, I think, is in the top 50 or top 60 right now in Ken Palm. Stanford, I think, is certainly top 100. I mean, these other teams that are there are no slouches, don't get me wrong. But certainly you're hoping for Michigan, Arkansas, and North Carolina. That would be the ideal dream scenario if it plays out that way.
Are you going to be a one-man band down there, or is Mark going? Do you have support staff? And I'm asking this because just the games and the unknown of the next opponent, you're going to be writing all the time, but also the sidebar stories, all the fans down there, the team away from Thanksgiving, how they're spending that. You've got a mountain of things to write. How staffed will y'all be at the Commercial Appeal down there? Are you doing it all?
Don't remind me, Brett. It's just me.
Sounds like you're doing it all.
Yep. I mean, I'm not going to. It feels like I drew the short straw.
No,
when
it's the way
you
want
put
it.
it like that. Yeah. But no, this is wonderful.
I know.
It's going to be a pretty. I hope a really, really fun atmosphere. And yeah, there's going to be I fully expect to break for meals, and that'd be about it. The rest of my time will be.
And we got to eat now, Jason.
Gotta eat.
But there will be plenty of screen time. Your laptop will be open the whole time.
No doubt. It will be. Beginning to end. But that's fine. That's okay.
It's what we live for.
I'd rather it be that way than the alternative. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I hope. I mean, that's what we do this for. Is for the.
And Jason, I tell people, we want good stories. That's what we want.
Yep. Don't want anything boring. That's the enemy. That is the real enemy, is boredom. So in our line of work, and so as long as it's exciting, I'm good. One way or the other, win, lose, or draw, as long as it's interesting, that is all I care about. And I fully, I'm banking on that this next week. It's gonna, I'll sleep when I get back. Let's put it that way.
That's right. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun for sure. But, Jason, we know you've got work to do tonight for this game, so we're going to let you go. But thanks so much for joining us, and enjoy the Battle for Atlantis next week, and enjoy Thanksgiving.
All right. Same to y'all. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you so much. And we'll visit again with Jason in 2 weeks as we're out next Friday. And the Tiger basketball world really have changed in 2 weeks, won't it?
Man, I mean, it could be much different than what we're talking about right now, depending on how that tournament goes. And I mean, from what I've seen, and, not to overreact or anything, but I'm feeling much better today. And you mentioned it either yesterday or the day before, of if you could go back and change any of your losses to wins, I guess wins to losses on our preseason picks for the Tigers, and I said I would change my from 1-2 in that battle for Atlantis to 2-1, and I think that could easily go from 2-1 to 3-0. I mean, this team showed a lot with that win against Missouri. I'm excited for this game tonight, but yeah, I mean, we could be talking about a top 15 team when we really get back in 2 Mondays.
Maybe better.
Yeah, maybe better than that. I mean, it's going to be
maybe better.
Yeah.
And Brian, I know historically nothing does it for Tiger basketball fans like U of L, like Louisville.
Right.
Second, I think, is Tennessee. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Arkansas is right there.
No, Arkansas is right there, and I should have asked Jason. It's something I'll write down to ask him next time we talk to him. But I mean, a lot of excitement, I think, from both sides, not just Memphis fans, but I think Arkansas fans as well for that potential of that Thursday game between Memphis and Arkansas. And I'm just curious what Jason thinks. I mean, this is something that seems like has been brought up a lot lately, the past couple of off seasons, of maybe getting something between Memphis and Arkansas on the books for a home and home or something during the season. This is how it happens, and so I'm curious how close we could be to getting that.
You know, we talk about in the NBA and even in all the pro leagues, rivalries are made in playoffs.
Yeah.
This could rekindle a lot for both sides.
It really could.
I don't know if absence made the heart grow fonder, but hey, you know, we had a good thing.
Sure.
We need to do this more often.
Yeah.
We got the football thing coming with Arkansas.
Yeah, we do. So I mean, hopefully, we get to that game on Thursday and we get Memphis versus Arkansas, and hopefully, I hope the Tigers can get a win over Arkansas if they do see them, but hopefully it's an entertaining game that really both coaches walk away from it, both ADs walk away from it going, we need to have this more often, close enough, and it just makes sense to have this game more often.
It does. You know, in that game when it was played semi-annually, regularly, and it was played at a lot of different times. I can remember kind of right before Christmas, kind of a third weekend in December type.
Yeah.
I can remember a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night to start the new calendar year.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember a late February game that was wicked, just great in '95 up at Fayetteville. I don't. Most coaches now, especially the bigger conferences like the SEC, they don't want to do anything like that late in the year anymore. We even saw Gonzaga get away from that with the Tigers. But I'm pretty sure this will be the first time, if they indeed play a week from today. Game will be over by now if they do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a week from yesterday on Thursday. If they do play, I don't ever remember them running into each other in one of these MTs, one of these kind of holiday tournaments. A couple times in NCAA that were just classics.
Yeah, no, I mean it would be a lot of fun, and so hopefully we see that. I mean, I won't mind at all, but I will say
the Tigers in Arkansas met in a very famous New Year's Eve game.
Really?
One year at the Coliseum. I want to say New Year's Eve 76 going into 77, maybe 77. It was New Year's Eve 77 because Arkansas went on that spring of 78 to the Final Four. And tickets impossible. I mean, we didn't have a chance to find good tickets. And I was listening to the game, and Arkansas had the triplets, had Moncrief, Sidney Moncrief, Marvin Delph, and Ron Brewer, and they really put on a show. They had hammered LSU a couple of nights before that down at Baton Rouge as Dale was building what he was building, and then came into the Coliseum and put it on the Tigers. And I was listening to Jack Eaton, and it almost sounded like, he was just almost out of breath. He went, "Great Scott, the Tigers are down 31.
Oh no! Oh man, 31. Yikes!
Yeah, but that was vintage.
Yes,
vintage Eddie Sutton. Then Penny Hardaway was success against Arkansas. Beat them at FedEx Forum in February. No, beat them at the Pyramid. Beat them at the Pyramid in February of '92, and then put it on them again up in Milwaukee in the NCAA tournament later that spring.
Wow. Well, I mean, I hope this is a series we can get back. But like you and Ty were saying about an hour ago, if we did get this back, home and home, no neutral
home
side.
And home.
I mean, I think you could see in that Arizona and Duke game a couple weeks ago, these big high-profile matchups are better when they're at a home court.
Sun comes up one way or the other.
That's right. That's right. So hopefully we'll get to that game next Thursday with a Tiger win over Michigan and an Arkansas win over Stanford. But before we get to a break, I got to tell you about Hewlett and Dunn. They're with us every single afternoon, sponsoring our 5 o'clock hour. Hewlett and Dunn, boot and jean on the historic square in Collierville since 1961. Charles Hall, he started working there in his teens, and now with his wife Laura, they own the place, known for all the boots, but also clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. It's the perfect time to get over to Hewlett and Dunn with the holidays quickly approaching. They've got something for everybody, a present for everyone in your family. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, even rubber boots. Boots for every occasion at Hewlett and Dunn. And from head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable, like Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, they've got clothing like jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville or to HewlettDunn.com. They've also got accessories like hats, sunglasses, boot care products in every area, team snapback, or cool hat you can think of, whether it be for the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks. They've got it, and for travel, the bag selection is top-notch. HewlettDunn.com, but please head out to Collierville and give them a visit. Say hello at 111 North Center Street on the square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for our First National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
How long has it been since you heard the term being overstocked? Well, it's happened at Family Leisure. Yep. That means you get the savings, like select patio sets that are up to 50% off. If you need a play gym, you're in luck because they're also overstocked and start at under $2,000. Pool tables and game room items up to $700 off of in-stock items. Saunas, massage chairs, arcades, even theater seating. Special financing is available with free delivery. Family Leisure is extending sale pricing on all in-stock hot tubs and swim spas. And if you need supplies to close up your pool for the winter, Family Leisure has them up to 30% off. It's been a while since you've heard of an overstock sale, but Family Leisure is right in the middle of one. Huge deals and a huge overstocked inventory. That means great savings for you. It's happening now at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Roofs, roofs, and more roofs. Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair simply because they don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance claims for policyholders each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. Call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates, consultation, and claim repairs. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, diagnosing problems, and estimating is second to none, commercial and residential. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. All you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and Mulehide with labor warranties up to 50 years on all of our jobs. Metro Builders provides roof repairs across the Mid-South. Call Metro Builders to schedule your inspection free. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It continues to run a little bit slow out there on 40 East at 269 as you leave Shelby County out into Fayette County from that earlier wreck. It's mostly just rubbernecking. That wreck's been over to the side for a while. It continues to run a little bit slow today for some reason here on 55 northbound up through the construction between McLemore South Parkway, trying to work your way up towards Crump. Hey, get rid of that old junk car this weekend by calling Memphis for Junk Cars. That number's 901-258-8999. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Friday football forecast from First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Real estate isn't something you purchase or develop or desire. It's something you appreciate, respect, and know. With real estate, there's no gray area. You either know it or you don't. First National Bank and Trust, a proud division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. They've known it since their beginning in 1886. Clients depend on First National Bank because they know real estate. Brooks Winchester, Bill Samish, and many more can assist you in your acquisition of that hunting land, farmland, a construction project. Let First National Bank and Trust make your dreams a reality. 775 Ridge Lake Boulevard, Suite 140 in Memphis. 901-498-5763 or the office in Collierville or online at fnbtmemphis.com. For commercial real estate, residential construction, or recreational and agriculture financing, let First National Bank and Trust help you. They're a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas, where I have had an account, been a friend, and been a customer my entire life.
Now firmly in West Tennessee with those offices and growing, and customer confidence is the cornerstone at First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. Stable, secure, rock solid, reliable, and consistent through all these years. And they bring us the football forecast every Friday and for years. So much to be thankful for. Thankful for them as a great sponsor and a great friend of ours through all these years. Brian, I'm going to call it 9.5. That's what Vegas is calling it.
Crazy.
Tomorrow, 11 o'clock on ESPN2. It's SMU on their way to the ACC.
Yep.
They got to get past the Memphis Tigers first at the Fairgrounds. We're going to call it 9.5. Memphis leads all-time 10-5, 6-2 in games at the Fairgrounds. First played in 1976. The very colorful Ron Meyer, coach of SMU that year, he was central to all the shenanigans in the late 70s and early 80s at SMU. Head coach of the Tigers then was a very nice man, Richard Williamson. 6-game winning streak for SMU going into this game. They've won 6 conference games by 30 points. That's the average. SMU, they stole one last year in Highland Park. Last game for a while. Memphis, 9.5-point favorite. Give me the Tigers. Give me the Tigers. 38-31 34. I promise you that was my score before Bruce Marshall said it.
Wow, that's incredible. I believe you, too. I believe you when you say that. I'm also going to take the Tigers tomorrow. I think this is going to be a big game for them, and we're going to see how they come out. I think a big crowd would be huge for them, and coming out hot. I mean, we've seen some slow starts this season, but you can't have one against SMU tomorrow. You need to start fast. This SMU offense can score. This SMU defense can limit other teams from scoring, so we need the Tigers to come out hot, get some points on the board early, but I think they cover that 9.5. I think they win outright. I think they get a win tomorrow for the Tigers.
Let's put some pressure on them early because SMU, they have been kind of lollygagging against lesser opponents. 2:30 on CPS, Georgia, 10.5-point favorite over Tennessee. The last time Tennessee lost a game at Neyland Stadium, guess who it was to? Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia trying to go 8-0 in 3 straight years in the SEC. No other school they've been able to do that since division play started in 1992. Tennessee 14 straight at home. 27 straight wins for Georgia. Georgia 43-1 in the last 44. All these superlatives I can attest to. I saw them last week. Clearly the best team I've seen this calendar year in person. 22 straight weeks as AP number 1 for Georgia. Georgia puts it on Tennessee 38-17 at Neyland.
Wow, I'm going to go with Georgia as well. I mean, what I saw from them really these last couple of weeks, but really last week against Ole Miss with game day in town, with Ole Miss feeling like they had so much to play for in that game to upset Georgia, and for Georgia to come out, it'd be close in the first half and then them just run away with it in the second half. I've got to take Georgia, even though they're on the road. A big line for a road favorite, but I'll take the Dogs.
6 o'clock on FS1 tomorrow night, Kansas State minus 8.5 at KU. 113th consecutive year for KU versus K-State. That's the 4th longest uninterrupted series. It will move to 3rd next year because we know there will be no bedlam. Minnesota versus Wisconsin, number 1 at 107 straight years, and that's being played next week and already played this year, Wake and North Carolina State, to move to 114 straight years. Kansas State, 3 losses, all on the road by a combined 14 points. It's that narrow out there in every league. Don't think it's just your league, it's every league. This is the Sunflower Showdown. Kansas tied for the national lead in defensive touchdowns. They're one of 8 teams with 4 touchdowns on defense. Give me Kansas State 21-10 over Kansas.
I'm also going to take Kansas State. There's a lot of questions surrounding quarterback play tomorrow for the Kansas Jayhawks. Jason Bean has been their starter for a while since Jalen Daniels has been out, but Jason Bean got injured in the last game and left. They had to go to their 3rd-string quarterback. Bean has taken a lot of reps this week, the coaching staff has said, but really unclear if he'll play on tomorrow or if how limited he'll be. So I'm going to take Kansas State, even though it's a rivalry. I like to think rivalry games would be close. I'm going to take Kansas State minus the 8.5.
Too much agreement. We've agreed on all 3 picks so far. Tomorrow night on Fox, 7 o'clock, Texas minus 7.5 in Ames against Iowa State. Quinn Ewers, 14 touchdowns on the year, 4 interceptions, 2,232 yards. A Texas win would mean the first 10-1 start for Steve Sarkisian since he's been head coach at UT. And this game was first played in 1979. This will be the last time it will be played in the Big 12. Iowa State straight up 31-30 over Texas.
Well, I know one game that we are not going to agree on. Give me the Horns. Give me Texas minus 7.5.
You got them. Give me your college football lock and shop.
For my lock, I'm going to go with maybe the hottest team in the country, Arizona, minus 1.5 over Utah at home. I think they get the win in that one. For my shock, I'm going to take North Carolina plus 7.5 on the road against Clemson. I think North Carolina is the better team here, even though Clemson might be playing better over the last couple of weeks. I'll take North Carolina on the road.
Give me Kentucky. I'm going to lay the slim 1.5 at South Carolina. Kentucky wins that 28-17. And then give me Washington plus the 2.5. They win at Oregon State 28-21. To the NFL on Sunday, noon on CBS, Cleveland minus 3.5 over Pittsburgh. We're going to leave it at 3.5. That's what I gave it to you. If you like Pittsburgh, take them. You'll get a little more. I'm going to take Cleveland. Pittsburgh leads all time, 81-62-1, 2-1 in the postseason. First time these two teams met, it was Otto Graham at quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in that first meeting in 1950. Burt Jones, the LSU legend, his dad, Dub Jones, scored 2 touchdowns that day. He's 98 years young, still works every day, and still hunts every day of the hunting season. Saw Burt Jones a few years ago, and he told me about his dad. Give me Cleveland in that game and lay the 3.5.
I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one. I think if you like Pittsburgh to win this game, even better. But I think with this game, you look at the total in this one being about 33.5, 32.5. I think it'll be a low-scoring game. And I think when you get into these low-scoring games in the NFL, it could come down to a field goal. You go back to last week when we had so many games decided by a last-second field goal. This game could be one of those. And so if you're going to give me the hook at 3.5, I'm going to take it. I'll take Pittsburgh.
Sunday at noon on CBS, Miami laying the 12.5 over the Raiders. We heard Bruce Marshall break that game down. Raiders lead all time 21-19-1, and they lead all time when they meet in the postseason 3-1. They've had some classic matchups in this series. Give me the Raiders plus the 12.5.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Raiders. I don't love this one. I mean, Miami has been a completely different team when they're playing at home this season, and this game is in Miami. But I'll take Las Vegas. I think one of my rules, when you're going to give me about 12 or higher, I've got to take the dog in that one. So I'll take Vegas to keep it close, 12 plus 12.5.
My NFL lock, Houston minus 4.5 over Arizona. And my NFL shock, Green Bay plus the 3.5 over the Chargers. The Chargers aren't winning the Super Bowl as I predicted in the preseason.
No, unfortunately, Brett, they are not. For my lock, I'm going to go with Brett, our Dallas Cowboys minus 10.5.
That's right.
On the road against the Panthers. I think Carolina has just not been impressive at all this season. Have been really bad. I think Dallas continues to roll and covers the big line at 10.5. For my shock, I'm going to go with the Vikings and kind of this inspired story of the Minnesota Vikings over the last couple of weeks. I'll take them plus 2.5 over the, maybe I guess we could call them, red-hot Denver Broncos.
That's our Friday football forecast for this week, brought to you by First National Bank and Trust, a division of First National Bank of Eastern Arkansas. For real estate, whether it's commercial, ag, hunting, recreational, contact them at fnbt.com or call them at 901-498-5763. Brian, I'm ready for some bad weather in some of these NFL games. I'm ready to see some snow games.
I am too. I mean, we're getting pretty close to needing some snow games, I think.
We are getting close to snow games and bad weather games, and we're getting close to the Thanksgiving holiday. That's next Thursday. It's rapidly approaching, less than a week. And here's where you need to order for the food that day and let them take care of everything. That's the commissary. The Collierville Commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar are the original in Germantown. Call them at 901-754-5540 or go online at commissarybbq.com for the smoked turkey, the homemade cornbread dressing, the gravy, the cranberry sauce, the mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, butter, plates, utensils. They do it all except for clean up for you. Price point for everyone, 901-754-5540. Whole turkeys and hams, all the sides, the bulk pricing, all the desserts, they have it. And, of course, they have the barbecue that we've come to know and love through over 40 years of the commissary and the great work that Walker Taylor and his team that they do, that Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, the Memphis slow-cooked way. If you're craving an easier way to order, text commissary to 33733. Dig into the ribs or the shoulder, all the sides, all the desserts. And for the holiday bird, whether it's Thanksgiving or for Christmas, here's the number for any reason, 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown, the party areas, the orders to go, catering, tailgating, and at the holidays, the perfect place, 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up the week with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
With Black Friday savings all month long at the Home Depot, you get all the jingle bells and whistles you could wish for with LG appliances. With America's most reliable line of appliances per independent consumer study, you can take holiday doing to holiday done and always be ready to handle last-minute holiday guests. Save up to $900 on select laundry sets with Black Friday savings, including top brands like LG at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-251-2305. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-251-2305 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-251-2305 to see if you qualify. That's 800-251-2305.
Let's end this year with a bang with Gossett Mitsubishi's Mitsubishi Motors year-end sales event. You want huge savings? We Gossett. The awards keep coming for the world's first and best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV. 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV, 420 total range and PGE. We Gossett at $299.96 a month. Plus, 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, buy for $26,850 or $379 a month. Plus, IIHS top safety pick in seat 7. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander, $32,185 or $399 a month. All equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You want it, we Gossett. Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
PHEV PZ062,303, MSRP 44,355, 84 months, 500 military and conquest or loyalty rebate. Outlander RZ 006545, MSRP 33,185. Sport RU 001,004, MSRP 27,850. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Upgrade your commute at Acura of Memphis. Seize the thrill and test drive one of our award-winning models, each packed with cutting-edge technology, luxurious amenities, and a driving experience that's sure to awaken your inner self. Driving shouldn't be a chore, it should be an adventure. Advance your drive today, shop our aggressive lease and finance options now. Luxury is waiting at Acura of Memphis, or shop online 24/7. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is we have new information on the Michigan situation. Now, as Yahoo was the first to report this morning, the NCAA turned over new evidence to the school this week, alleging that a booster named Uncle T helped fund staffer Connor Stallion's scheme of buying tickets to opponents' games and hiring people to film the opposing sideline. So now we have a booster involved. Uncle T. Any chance Uncle T might have a handful of Super Bowl rings and just retired from the NFL?
Uncle TB12, you're alleging, maybe?
I mean, hey, look, I'm not alleging anything, Brett. I'm just saying I know somebody's name who's very prominent in Michigan that starts with a T.
Well, Michigan couldn't look more guilty, could they?
No, they could not.
I think they are guilty. What I learned today is that a runner used a car to finish an ultra marathon.
Oh, no.
And she came in third.
What?
How good must 1 and 2 be running the real way?
Beating cars.
And to think we have cheating in college sports, but you have to know that if you're in a race running, you don't get in a car.
No, we always get these stories. Though.
Then you're in NASCAR.
Yeah, you would think
you're
that
in a car.
Over time, people who have this idea in their head of, I'll just jump in a car and cheat, that they would learn over time. It always seems to get caught. I mean, it seems like we always have a story like this where someone gets caught doing that, but that's hilarious.
Usually at the Tour de France, but this was somewhere exotic.
Interesting. Brett, what I could have done without, we mentioned it earlier, but the Marcus Smart injury news, 3 to 5 weeks, and I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, these injuries are really piling up. Now, we have heard Derrick Rose.
Murphy's Law year.
It really is. But we've heard Derrick Rose is very close to return. So, I mean, because when you look right now at that point guard position, I mean, Jacob Gilliard, stand up. I mean, you're the only guy really in the clubhouse right now. I mean, it's really rough, but hopefully maybe Derrick Rose can get healthy, and maybe, just maybe, Marcus Smart won't be out for 4 to 5 weeks, but I would be very surprised at this point.
So no Marcus Smart Sunday against his Boston Celtics, his former
awful.
team. Could have done without the Joe Burrow injury. The Bengals played with fire long enough with that slop of an offensive line, and now Burrow's hurt. He's taken way too many hits to be not just the franchise player, but to be their best player in history, and he's been treated like he's Ickey Woods.
He really has, but man, I hated to see that injury last night for him, and then the news today coming out that he's going to be out for the season. Where are you beaming this weekend, Brett?
I only get 7 a year, and sadly tomorrow's my final one. Get me to the Grove for Ole Miss versus ULM, 9 o'clock with I'll be with Gary Darby, and then 11 o'clock David Kellum on play-by-play, Harry Harrison as the analyst, John Darnell on the sidelines, all right here on Sports 56 and 98.5. It goes way too fast, and this year has been just warp speed.
No, you're absolutely right, and I'll take that same page, and I'm going to beam tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. at Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium for Memphis versus SMU. Right now, we've talked about it all day. SMU a heavy favorite coming into Memphis, but I like this Memphis team's chances. Everything is in front of both of these teams. Really, when it comes to the conference championship game, a shot at the New Year's Six bowl game, and tomorrow's going to be very important for both of these teams. So going back to it, I've stressed it today. Crowd is everything tomorrow. If you can create a hostile environment, a loud environment against SMU, I think that's going to give Memphis that edge.
Tigers tonight in basketball. Tomorrow, as you said, against SMU. Georgia and Tennessee was going to be the game of the year in college football in the preseason. It's really not. Georgia keeps that streak going. Washington at Oregon State. Texas at Iowa State. You think A&M can win without Jimbo against Abilene Christian?
Well, I think it will take all hands on deck, a little bit of everybody, lunch pail, hard hat type of week to do that.
Aggie way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But, hey, I'll give them a chance, I guess.
Grizzlies in San Antonio and then home against Boston. NFL on Sunday, great schedule. And feast week and eating season, fun, great time of year. It's on.
It really is. I mean, like I said it to you yesterday, Brett. Now, watching all these college basketball games on TV and seeing the feast week as they come in and out of breaks has been really, really fun to watch. But you're right. It's going to be a really fun weekend. Let me, before we get out of here, tell you about this weekend. Tonight, Ole Miss versus Sam Houston State. That coverage is going to start at 7:30. Tomorrow, Ole Miss, UL Monroe, 9 a.m. for pregame. Bears and Lions at noon on Sunday. Seahawks, Rams at 3. Vikings, Broncos at 7 p.m. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again Monday afternoon.
The 8-2 Memphis football team is home for a huge conference game against SMU this Saturday, November 18th. It's a blackout, so wear black and cheer hard for the biggest game of the season. Tickets start at just $20 as Memphis football continues to work toward a berth in the American Championship game. Be at Simmons Bank, Liberty Stadium, Saturday, November 18th. Purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGoTix.com.
Happy 62nd birthday, Granddad.
Thanks, sweetheart.
I got you this.
A mug. What does it say? Beware. If you are 60 or older, you may be at increased risk of serious consequences from RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, compared to adults younger than 60.
Not all dangers come with warning labels. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about getting vaccinated against RSV today. RSV vaccines, including Pfizer's, are available. Learn more at bewareofrsv.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TURN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TURN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
As you know, the holiday season is fast approaching, and as you also probably know, 117 Prime, Memphis' premier dining destination, now has its menu available for takeout. Now, far be it from us to ever suggest that somebody could, theoretically, order a full dinner from 117 Prime and then pass it off as their own cooking at a holiday meal. We all agree that doing so would be unethical. It would be just plain wrong. But think about how much effort you could save by having 117 Prime make dinner, and then you get to reap all the rewards. Again, it would be wrong.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn